In Statesboro, Georgia, 6 national championships and a lot of demand from the fans here at Paulson Stadium for the Georgia Southern Eagles to write their season with a win over Furman today. Coming up on CSTV. In Southern Georgia, they're used to competing for Southern Conference and for national championships. But 5-4 at this point in the season is a little bit different for the Eagles. Instead of playing for championships, now they are playing for pride. Carter Blackburn here on CSTV Football Saturday. My usual partner, Glenn Parker's out getting inducted into the Ring of Honor at the University of Arizona. So Scott Zolak, former Maryland quarterback, joins us today. Now, this is one of the tough games of the season because Georgia Southern has not had a great year, yet now they have to get up for their rivalry game. Difficult to do?
It is. You looked at this game early in the schedule, you would say this would be for the conference championship, but it's not. Georgia Southern, you have to hang your hat on something. They're leading the league in rushing, up in the tops in the nation at 332 yards a game. Top that's something they can hang it on. 31 kids from the state of Georgia play for Furman. 12 are starters. It's a recruiting battle. This has become a big rivalry.
And Georgia Southern wants to be the top running team in the nation. Right now, they're number 2, led by Jermaine Austin, who has been a tough kid and a very effective back.
Very, very tough kid. I mean, right now he's number 6 all time, only after 2 years at Georgia Southern. So this is one of the tougher kids on the football team. They want to get him in the game early, especially if the weather's going to be a factor.
So rushing the football big for Georgia Southern and also knocking Furman out of the playoff picture. The Paladins have 3 losses, can't afford another one.
They can't. It's win out. They have to do everything they can. They got number 1 Wolford next week. All of a sudden they have 2 quarterbacks. They're going to start Bo Moore today. Talked to Robbie Land last night. Tim Soils, the offensive coordinator, but they said they would not hesitate to go to redshirt freshman Josh Stepp. Now, he stepped in well against Citadel in the loss, threw for 119 yards and a touchdown. In the win against East Tennessee State, he had a better day, 208 yards with 1 touchdown. So they don't have a lot of time. If it's not going well, not to say that if they're losing, but if it's a tie ball game, look to see Stepp in early.
So number 18, Furman, will be laying it all out against Georgia Southern. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast crew, Mindy Bach.
Here at Georgia Southern in the short time since football's return to the school is the riding of the buses, and I'm talking about old school buses. These buses carry the players from the training facility here on campus to Paulson Stadium for each and every home game. At the time the program started, it didn't have a lot of money, so the local school board donated these buses that at the time were out of service. A local mechanic fixed them up and got them running, and they've been the team's ride ever since. Well, for one home game, the team showed up on a chartered bus, and the fans wouldn't have it. So 6 national titles later, the bold buses is what they still ride. Carter and Scott.
It's a rough ride, but Georgia Southern hoping to get back into the winning ways against the Bay rivals from Furman today on CSTV Football Saturday. For just the 15th time, it's Georgia Southern versus Furman, but that belies the rivalry that has developed. Those 6 national championship flags for Georgia Southern in a muggy Statesboro, Georgia. 66 degrees here on November the 8th, and the humidity at 65%. It is muggy and sticky conditions. Bobby Lamb and his Furman Paladins made the trip down from Greenville, South Carolina last night. The second-year head coach now in his 22nd year with the Furman program. First as a quarterback from 82 to 85, and then with the Paladins as an assistant coach since then. Now second year as a head coach, and he will be going up against the option attack of the Georgia Southern Eagles. We likely won't see a whole lot of that today. Chaz Williams and Georgia Southern will run the football a lot. Scott Zolak, when we saw these teams warming up, usually you see the quarterbacks go out there throwing around the football, but the Coach Seawalk and the Georgia Southern Eagles, I mean, the first half-hour of warm-ups is just working on the option.
Right, we're standing here for 25 minutes for the pregame. I said, this is the first pregame where I've never seen a quarterback throw football. Usually you take your starter, put him on the goal line, put the backup on a 30, run some stratters, go through your passing tree, and as a team, you go through your runs. Didn't happen. All runs.
Last year in 2002, Georgia Southern made it to the semifinals of the first year of the Coach Seawalk, but 5-4 at this point for the Eagles in 2003. Opening kickoff for Furman, run back to the 26-yard line. Brian Bratton brings it out, and the Furman Paladins, led by quarterback Bo Moore, will get the football first, coming back from a high ankle sprain. The coaches say he's about 95% at this point health-wise. So Bo Moore, who is the second leading rusher on the team with 152 rushing yards, gets a start. Although, as Scott told us before kickoff, that if Bo Moore is not effective, they will quickly go to the redshirt freshman Josh Stepp, who filled in adequately, including in the win over East Tennessee State. The Furman Paladins coming off an off week, so we may see some trickery that has been added to the playbook at some point today. First down, pass is complete at the sideline to Isaac West with his just 11th catch of the season. It's a relatively well-balanced offense between the run and the pass, so the group up front, led by right tackle Brian Lagus, a sophomore from Stockbridge, Georgia, but he has been a good one so far in his Furman career. Isaac West, who got the football first, is one of the guys the coaches say we have to put the ball in his hands to be effective, even though Brian Bratton is the leading receiver. Second down and 3 on the first Furman drive. Pitch goes to Henley Brigham around the left side, a couple yards, but that will force third down. Georgia Southern defense that is ranked 7th in the Southern Conference. Their goal was to be number 1. They have not gotten to that point this year. Eric McIntyre will lead the group up front, and then Derek Butler, who didn't play last week, recovering from a concussion, is the big play middle linebacker. And Terrence McBride, 2 interceptions last week versus East Tennessee, one of which he returned 91 yards for a touchdown. 3rd and 1, key play early on, Scott, for Furman.
So this is huge. You see 2 tight end set.
Give us to the fullback, and that's a first down. Brandon Berry gets first down and 10 for Furman to move the chains. The offensive coordinator for the Paladins, Tim Sorrells, told us because Georgia Southern plays that ball control offense, your possessions are going to be limited. So every time you get the football, you have to do something with it.
Exactly. You want to keep it down 3rd and 2, 3rd and short. You don't want to get into 3rd and 8 situation. You got Bo Moore coming back. You had the bye week. He may be a little bit rusty. He looked good coming out. Like you said, you got the 2 tight end set early in this game. You know what they're going to play small ball, shrink the formation down, and just keep it within the tackles.
So 1st and 10 for the Furman Paladins, ranked number 18 in the nation after they were preseason number 8. Moore back to pass. He has to scramble, and now Bo Moore will just run it out of bounds. Somebody lost a shoe on the play, but Bo Moore gets knocked out. And it was Bo who lost the shoe. What about this as a quarterback when you're running out and you end up losing your shoe?
You can see that's about the 4th formation where they bring that off tight end back into the backfield. But, you know, Moore didn't see anybody open. He did a good job getting outside the pocket. Don't take the sack there. Don't throw it away. You know, now tee it back up, 2nd and 10.
But Moore gets out of bounds. He doesn't turn the ball over. So it's 2nd and 10. And now he goes to the shotgun. So several different looks on the first series for Furman. And it's effective. Brian Bratton, the team's leading receiver, picks up about 7 yards. So already mixing it up, Furman, and they've thrown in a few wrinkles.
Exactly. That's, you know, first 4 or 5 plays, you've seen 2 tight ends. All of a sudden they went to the spread formation. The 2 receivers to the left did a nice clear out. They drug him underneath. They hit him. All of a sudden you get 7 yards on first down.
Moving the football on its first drive. Georgia Southern is known for a bruising defense, but they have been porous, and they have not forced turnovers. Just 3 recovered fumbles on the year for this Georgia Southern defense. Not a good number.
3 recovered fumbles out of 17 total. You could say they're not having luck. The ball's not bouncing away, but you got to make opportunities.
And another first down and some running room up the middle. Into the open field and inside the 35. It's Henley Brigham who picks up another first down. They're running right up the gut of this Georgia Southern defense.
All of a sudden, you see the quarterback, he's in shotgun. This is just a basic draw play right up the middle. You got a hat on a hat. The 2 guards did a good job picking up the backers. This is what Furman wants to do on their first drive. Establish something, get a nice drive going, maybe put some points on the board here.
Most of the time you talk about using the run to set up the pass, but do those early completions kind of pull your defense back a little bit if you're Georgia Southern?
Well, yeah, they do. But, you know, you talk about the early completions. They're keeping it nice and short. It looks like they want to get Bo Moore's confidence going early in this football game.
And to Brigham again on the left side on the counter, and he picks up another 4 or 5 yards.
It's going to be a tough one for Georgia Southern today. You can't really say what Furman's trying to do here. They've come out in about 3 different multiple formations. All of a sudden, they're running counters backside. They hit you already with a big draw play on 3rd down. You know, they got to really stone it up right here. They're starting to get in the red zone. That's where they've struggled.
2nd down and 5. Henley Brigham, the sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama, and his brother Grant is a wide receiver who's made six catches on the year. Second down and 5 with Bo Moore under center. Play action, plenty of picked off. Nearly picked off by Aaron Whitaker. He had both hands.
The quarterback saw one thing, and the receiver's not on the same page. You don't want to do that down here in the red zone. You don't want to turn the football over. He's not running the right out. Get the ball out of bounds. Throw the ball away.
Whitaker could have easily had that pick. I mean,
that's easier assault.
Right. First time they converted on motion on the line. Here's a flag. Maybe a free play. Pass is incomplete, but this looks like it's going to be offsides against Victor Cabral.
Great job by the quarterback, mixing up the cadence, getting the neutral zone in fraction. All of a sudden, he's either going to be almost a first down or third and short. Much more manageable game situation on third and short.
Offside. Defense.
We talk about the penalties. That's something. 36 penalties on the year for Furman. We talk about the smarts. The freshman class, they're averaging 1,158 on the SAT. One of the fewest penalized teams in 1AA. And then all of a sudden, on the other side of the ball, you got a more penalized team right here. Keeps the drive alive. It's got to be driving Coach Seawalker mad right now.
And that is in case you are unfamiliar with SAT scores since you took it when you were about 17, 18 years old. 1,000 is a good score for trying to fill up your football team. 1,000 is a very tough standard.
Phenomenal.
Still third down, so this is 3rd and 1. Quarterback sneak, easily getting the first down. Bo Moore can run with the football, and easily when you're getting a good push up front from guys like Corey Stewart.
Not only that, but already almost 5 minutes gone on the clock. They're really chewing up this first drive, and exactly what they want to do. Bobby Lamb's got to be ecstatic. His football team's moving the ball. They don't look confused right now. And his quarterback, Bo Moore, he doesn't look rusty at all.
This is a guy who hasn't played that much, coming back from the injury plus the off week. He has basically not been under center for about a month, Bo Moore, and yet he's leading this first drive. They've already completed 3 third down conversions. They've got the ball now at the 22-yard line, and he looks like he's been in there the whole time. Bo Moore takes it again. A little draw play up the middle, 3-4 more yards. Georgia Southern is not showing any capacity to stop whatever Furman's doing on offense.
It's tough right there. You had to kind of go with the tailback on that one. All of a sudden, you get a couple runs, first down. You think they're going to run the football. Bo Moore keeps it up the middle. Look for a play-action pass off that next time. Faking, coming back, maybe trying to hit the tight end down the seam.
And the crowd that we have heard so much about here in Statesboro, Georgia, obviously a disappointing season, and Furman has just about taken this crowd out of the football game on the first drive by consistently moving the football.
Right here, they got to step up. They got to get a hold right here, hold them to the field goal.
Second down and 7, more to the end zone. By Derek Butler, and Butler will run it back to the 23-yard line. They drive into the red zone and then throw the pick. First interception of the year for Derek Butler.
We were just talking about that. Watch for the play action to come. Try and hit the seam right up the middle. All of a sudden, it's not there. There's 4 guys standing there. He's got to come down, hit the running back, hit your check down. Forced it right in there. And that's our man Butler making the play. We had a heck of an interview with him yesterday. He's ready to go, coming off the concussion. It looks like his head's in it.
So the first drive for Furman ends up in an interception. Now Georgia Southern gets the football.
Butler, actually, both his interceptions are against Furman. But right here, you saw the play action. He did not bite on the play action. He stayed within the system. He got back into the post area, that seam, the dangerous area in the red zone, makes the pick, and a huge play for his football team right now.
The 10th interception by the Georgia Southern team in 2003. So an impressive drive put together by Bo Moore, but now he has to sit on the bench because of the pick. And watch the Georgia Southern option offense. Chaz Williams with a give to the fullback up the middle. That is Tim Gersitz, and he fumbles the football. Georgia Southern gets right back on top of it. Gersitz starting because Jermaine Austin missed practice this week with his banged-up knee. Chaz Williams coming up from a banged-up knee himself, had surgery on October the 2nd. He's come back. He missed 3 games off the bench to lead the comeback versus Citadel, which was actually a loss, and then last week his first start since the surgery. On the option, Williams keeps it down at the 31. The rest of the Georgia Southern offense, 5-4 on the year, averaging 332 rushing yards a game, second in all of 1AA football. Reggie Cordy, the right guard on the offensive line, known as the Rev. Enjoys preaching. And then in place of Jermaine Austin, Tim Gersitz gets the start at the all-important fullback position in an option offense. But we will see plenty of Jermaine Austin. Williams keeps it. Now the late pitch. It goes to Kevin Davis, one of the slot backs, near the first down. But not quite moving of the chains. The Furman defense who will have to play assignment football. Brandon Poole, the son of 1981 Heisman Trophy winner George Rogers, on the defensive line. And then the linebackers, Cedric Ritter, who leads that group today. Cam Newton, the free safety, is a guy that Bobby Lamb said that they're going to count on him to make the plays from the free safety position playing against the option. 4th down, and Georgia Southern will have to punt. Exactly what Furman wanted to force them into.
Exactly. You want to keep them in 3rd and long. 3rd and 7, and you're running an option. It's going to be a long day for Georgia Southern if they're going to continue to run the option on 3rd and long. You can't throw the football. You're not used to throwing it. You have to resort to the run.
A flag, though, on the play.
Before the snap, delay of game.
And delay of game. So Georgia Southern
Still
debated
4th
going
down.
for it on 4th and 1. Now that's going to cost them 5 yards, as Sean Holland will be both the punter and kicker today, and he's going to have to back up to his 15. Justin Stepp back to return it for the Furman Paladins.
Twin brother of Josh Stepp.
3 blocked punts last week. And a great punt here from Holland. He gets it off and gets it to Justin Stepp. Decent return out to the 29-yard line.
That's a decent return. Sometimes you almost outkick your coverage. Right there, they should have had him knelt on the spot, but it was a great kick.
The Eagles of Georgia Southern go 3 and out in a scoreless game on CSTV Football Saturday. Scoreless game between Georgia Southern and Furman. Let's hear what the Eagles have to say to try to correct the mistakes early on. They said go out and play football. Try to tack on a couple more numbers onto that national champions. 6 times it is not going to happen in 2003, and that's a tough pill to swallow. 4 losses already for the Georgia Southern Eagles. 1st and 10, pass incomplete from Bo Moore. So after the interception, he throws an incompletion. Tomorrow night, Steve Schlanger and Derek Mays bring you comprehensive coverage of everything Irish on Notre Dame primetime. Look at the pregame, postgame, and everything in between, including Coach Ty Willingham's press conference and player interviews from the Navy game. All that plus much more on Notre Dame primetime Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on CSTV, the new home of college sports. Notre Dame taking on Navy, coached by former Georgia Southern coach Paul Johnson 2 years ago.
Navy team. Much improved.
And he's brought the option back to Navy. And they have, they really have come on as of late under Paul Johnson. Nearly picked off again.
Well, that's 2 consecutive plays. They're in the shotgun. He had it working in the first drive, using the tight end in motion, running the football, coming back in obvious throwing situations. But Bo Moore starting to stare down his receivers just a little bit, letting the Georgia Southern defenders get a nice break on the football.
A.K. Keys nearly comes up with that interception. So he's really thrown 3 balls that he probably shouldn't have. The interception, an incompletion, and then that was nearly picked.
Exactly. You know, that when you talk about building his confidence, all of a sudden you have 1 turnover like that, then you get a little tentative on your throws. There might be some tight spots. You're not going to zip it as quick. You're going to start getting the football, and that's where you get in trouble.
So the second Furman drive, now 3rd down and 10. Bo Moore from the shotgun, plenty of time. He leaves it high anyway, and incomplete for Brian Bratton. Great coverage in the secondary by Georgia Southern.
Great coverage by Georgia Southern, using a prevent defense right now, using their big 3 up front, using only 3-man rush. Still got pressure on Bo Moore. Stepped up in the pocket. You know, the guy was there, just didn't hit him.
So the punt team comes on for Furman. 3 and out for the Paladins. And a change this week punting for Furman is Danny Marshall, who is an All-America kicker. But this is the first game that he has been used as a punter. They were not pleased with the punt game. Georgia Southern comes after the first one and off the side of his foot.
Probably not pleased with that one either.
Great field position for the Eagles, now getting it near midfield. A scoreless first quarter so far in the Southern Conference clash. Number 18 Furman and Georgia Southern on CSTV Football Saturday. Danny Marshall, the All-America kicker, was supposed to be the solution to Furman's punting woes, but the first time he gets back there, just a 22-yarder, so What do you do after you have a 22-yard punt? You head over and try to practice a little bit more. I mean, he used to kick it off the tee, a little bit different feel to try to boot that ball away, but they had an interesting formation, one I've never seen.
Crazy punt formation. Usually you have one up back, and he's calling out the protection, looking for a blitzer. That time they had three guys almost got blocked right into the punter. So he may have been looking at them out of the corner of his eye.
Neither of these teams has been great on special teams in 2003. One of the reasons why they have not lived up to expectations. Georgia Southern football, Jermaine Austin they fake the give to Austin, and then Chaz Williams up to the 45-yard line, so now into Furman territory for the first time today for Georgia Southern.
Great job by Chaz Williams that time, keeping it himself. He saw it close down on Austin on that. He took the brunt of the hit. Williams got it up inside and took it for himself for 6 yards.
Jermaine Austin, the native of Darien, Georgia, the 8th leading rusher in the nation, 1,189 yards, and he has played a hurt. You say that it is most recently his knee that's kind of limited his side-to-side movement, but Scott told us before kickoff, I mean, he played with a big contusion on his left arm. He's just taking tacklers with him. He's putting his shoulders down, and he gets all the way down to the 26.
You saw that first series, 3 and out. All of a sudden, he gets in, sparks his team. You got the tough guy in there, your team leader, your leader in rushing. This is what you need. Run him all the way down.
Coming back from the sprained knee, and sprained that knee in the game last week against East Tennessee State. He was still the Southern Conference Player of the Week with 189 rushing yards on a sprained knee.
That's the thing. He has such a low center of gravity. He's able to run that close to the ground, carry ball carriers, break tackles.
1st and 10, Austin up the middle, and this time Furman is waiting for him. And you know, if you're the fullback who gets the football in an option attack, that you're going to take that pounding down after down, and sure enough, Jermaine Austin has to run over to the sideline.
Exactly. Got up a little slow, talking with him and Chaz Williams. People don't understand the complexity of the option offense. They think you go one way, you fake, and then you're pitching it. I mean, Chaz Williams, he's got 3 things to read. Not only Austin, but he takes a beating himself. He had shoulder surgery in the offseason, missed spring ball, missed preseason practice.
And as a deep, Chaz Williams keeps it there. Let's see what happens to Jermaine Austin here on the play where he came out of the ballgame 2 downs ago. Yep, maybe that right knee.
Yeah. Just one guy getting hold of it, and then you got big bodies in there. Someone's holding your knee. It only takes somebody just to give a little forearm shiver, and then you tweak the whole thing. All of a sudden, the injury reoccurs, maybe a little swelling, and just needs a couple plays out.
Michael Durant, who's the one who made that tackle, he's the nose tackle for Furman. 3rd down, Williams keeper gets to the 20. And how about the difference in the Georgia Southern offense when Austin is on the field and when he's off the field?
Exactly, and then all of a sudden you're trying to convert a 3rd and 8. You're running the option again. Maybe Chad should have kept it and pitched it right there. But, all of a sudden you got a long field goal attempt coming up.
Sean Holland, who has been inconsistent this year as a kicker. This will be a 36-yard attempt, which is his longest of the season. So he's trying to attempt a 36-yarder here. The kick is up, plenty of distance, and that kick is good. So Sean Holland, who has not been the most consistent kicker, the Eagle loves it, and Georgia Southern gets on the board first. Former coach Irk Russell is loving it. He is the one who founded this Georgia Southern football program after it had been dormant for 41 years, since World War II all the way to 1980. We caught you, Coach. We got you on camera. After 41 years, Irk Russell brought this program back and won the first 4 national championships for Georgia Southern. The weekend begins on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern with Crystal Ball. Join host Sid Rosenberg, Scott Zolak, who's here in the booth here, Aaron Taylor, and Sports Illustrated's Kelly King as they look back at the week that was in college football and peer into their Crystal Ball to forecast this weekend's action. Crystal Ball on CSTV, the new home of college sports. So who'd you pick this week?
I got Navy upsetting Notre Dame. Midshipmen looking for, their first bowl bid in God knows how long. But, Virginia Tech, you got them, you got Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. I'm not sold on this Virginia Tech football team. They had a great game last week, but I think that was just a one shot right there. And it's an interesting year. I really like that USC team. I think, I played for Pete Carroll with the Patriots, but I think he's at home in college football, and he's got it going on in Southern Cal.
Furman will get the football back at its 20 with Bo Moore, the quarterback, who led a great drive to start, but since then he has really struggled.
Yeah. This is one he was not on the same page with his receiver. There's the interception by Butler. But ever since that interception, he has become very tentative with his throws, aiming, staring down receivers. That one should have been picked off and gone for 6 right there.
They call that field goal that makes our score 3-0, a 37-yarder, which means it's the career long. That tells you the range of Sean Holland. Not very long.
Not very long, but he's dealing with a lot of wind. That was a great kick from that spot on the field, from the right hash.
So Bowmore, after the interception and 3 incomplete passes on the last drive. Well, imagine you run the football and Brigham could break it. This would be an 85-yarder for Hindley Brigham to the 10 to the 5 touchdown, an 80-yard touchdown run for Hindley Brigham.
He was out the gate early. I mean, they got back to their bread and butter right there. That's what they were doing in the initial series of the football game. Straight eye, bringing a little motion, running the football, not the shotgun. So obviously, with Bowmore struggling, they come back to the run and they break one right to the house.
So the Paladin fans, after making the 4 or 5 hour drive down from Greenville, South Carolina, have something to cheer about. On the play after the field goal kick, a touchdown for the Paladins. Career-long touchdown run for Brigham. 80 yards and a penalty on the point after touchdown.
That's just a matter of having a hat on the hat. Great job by the left side of the offensive line, collapsing the pile. I think they caught Georgia Southern in a blitzing situation right there. There's no way he should be able to take that draw play right to the house.
So after the passing troubles for Furman,
he's
untouched. Brigham goes 80 yards. Nobody gets a handoff.
That's the thing that drives defensive coordinators crazy.
When you're outside
simple first and 10 right after a kickoff. Right after you put 3 points on the board.
Point after touchdown is good after the penalty against Furman, so it's 7-3. After the Georgia Southern field goal, the Paladins answer back with an 80-yard, one-play touchdown drive, all to Hindley Brigham.
That was a great job by Tim Searles, getting back out of the shotgun, getting Bowmore out of the shotgun, going back to the bread and butter from the first series.
So he's already at 108 yards on the day.
Not a bad day.
80 of them on one run. 4 carries, 108 yards for Hindley Brigham. We talked about the crowd being out of it after that first Furman drive. Well, they get a little momentum with the field goal, and now silent again after watching that 80-yard touchdown.
The one red zone Austin run, but somehow they need to find a way to get this guy healthy. He's got to suck it up a little bit for his football team. If any time this next drive, it's key. How are they going to respond after the big touchdown on the 80-yarder?
In 2001, Furman won in the national semifinals on this field, Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia. After the game, obviously, going to the championship, they celebrated. However, Georgia Southern was also on the field in their home stadium for the first time ever, beat in the playoffs, and they did not like watching Furman celebrate on their field. So that's the worst of Georgia Southern minds out of the 27-yard line. Let's check in with Mindy Bach on the sideline.
Well, I'm with the legendary coach from Georgia Southern, Irk Russell. 3 national titles. Now, this is the first year that the Eagles have not or will not be able to go to the playoffs. It's not a position that they've been in. If you were still coaching, what would you say to the players and the team to help keep their focus?
Gosh, it's been such a long time since we haven't made the playoffs. I tell them to keep on keeping on and play as hard as they can, and just the usual stuff. You got to play as if this is the last game in the world, and it is.
We've seen the difference that Jermaine Austin makes when he comes into this team. What do you like about him as a running back?
I'm sorry, I missed your...
We see the spark that Jermaine Austin brings to this team when he comes in. What do you like about this player?
Well, I like just about everything about him. He's built low to the ground. He runs with power, and he's got a little burst of speed. He can go all the way. And as I understand, he is a very, very good team player. So I like him.
Okay, all right. Good, Russell. Thanks so much for your time. Let's go back to you, Carter and Scott.
Thank you very much, Mindy, with Irk Russell, a longtime Georgia Bulldog defensive coordinator. And as we said, in 1981, when Georgia Southern brought football back, he was the guy they brought in to coach the team.
Everywhere we've been the last 2 days, whether we're eating or walking through the Georgia Southern football office, there's a picture of this guy on every wall.
Gosh, in the hotel. I mean, the hotel where we're staying, there's framed pictures of Irk Russell. I mean, talk about a legend around Statesboro, Georgia. The Bulldogs are the big 1A team, and Georgia Southern is the big 1AA team. First time that Georgia Southern throws the football, and it's a completion for a first down.
Oh, they had it 2nd and 1, and then the loss right there takes you back to 3rd and long again. There's no way you could run the option again. You know, stopped him the first 2 times. Nice job by Chaz Williams. 1, 2, 3, and the ball is out. Great catch by the receiver.
Teddy Kraft makes that grab. Caught the... Yeah, there's the real Eagle. Yeah, feathers are a little bit ruffled. Late pitch, but a first down, still in bounds, and he got hit out. About 2 yards shy. Kevin Anderson, one of the slot backs, a sophomore from Gainesville, Georgia, gets near the first down, but he was forced out.
Jermaine Austin continuing to take that beating on that big dive play up the middle. He had 3 defenders converge on him. Chaz Williams pulled it out, did a nice job sucking the end in. Nice little pitch. Great gainer.
And yet this is a different team when Austin is on the field, whether he has the football.
It's like night and day. You can see the difference. I don't know if it's him, his actual athletic ability that's helping them to get the yardage, or else his team believes that much, and when they see him playing hurt, being in the huddle, it makes him step it up.
Chaz Williams will have to take a timeout here. They didn't like the formation set up, and the play clock was down inside of 5. So 7-3 Furman at this point in the first quarter. Georgia Southern takes the timeout. You can catch this year's NCAA Division I AA Football National Championship in Chattanooga, Tennessee, December 19th. For more information, visit www.ncaasports.com, a place that Georgia Southern is used to playing, not only in the Southern Conference in Chattanooga, but playing for national championships. Now, the 1AA National Championship used to move around, and twice these teams met. 1985 title game at Tacoma, Washington. Georgia Southern beat Furman for its first national championship. And then in 1988, Furman won the title in Pocatello, Idaho, by beating Georgia Southern. So you can tell why in early November, these teams who are used to playing for the Southern Conference title starting to think about the national title, especially for Georgia Southern. They know with 4 losses, there's no way that the Eagles are going to be heading to the playoffs. That's tough to take.
That's a tough thing. When you're both these teams, when you have winning traditions like that, you attain a certain level of the amount of wins that anything less than that is unacceptable. I mean, look at that, 6 consecutive Southern Conference titles, 14 Division I AA postseason appearances. That's huge for this program. And that's why they have the facilities that they have, the stadium that they have. But if you don't win football games, you get a lot of grumbling.
Chaz Williams, quarterback keeper, he picks up the first down inside the 45-yard line. Only one losing season since Georgia Southern brought football back in the early 80s. That was in 1997. So in recent memory, but these players, when they were recruited, was 2000 when Paul Johnson was winning a national championship, back-to-back in 99 and 2000. So they were in the semifinals last year. They're used to it.
And they're a young football team. I mean, you only got one senior starting on each side of the ball for both these teams.
First and 10, Chaz Williams calling out the play. And he's taking a long time doing it. Give up the middle, Jermaine Austin. Nope. It's not Austin who gets the football. I think
he wanted it there.
Well, as we said, when you run this option and fakes the inside give, but good assignment football. You hear that over and over. Defensive coordinators talk about assignment football against the option. What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's being disciplined, as a defense. If you're a down lineman, you got to stay in the gaps. If you're the outside backer, you have one decision. Either you're going to take that quarterback, and hopefully the corner will come up and take the tailback.
Complete to the outside. It's Teddy Kraft with his second catch, and he is making that grab right at the first down marker. This will be close depending on the spot.
Number 4, T.J. Wills for Furman, playing off. A little soft on that right side. Georgia Southern may have something here. Starting to hit that 8-yard curl route. It's a throw Williams can make. He's got his confidence in, continue to go to the well.
Move the chains. First and 10, Georgia Southern. Mike Seawalk in his second year of his first ever head coaching job. 5 years as a Georgia Southern assistant. Spent some time at Ohio and out on the islands in Hawaii. I mean, that's a good assistant coaching gig if you can get it. Offensive coordinator at Hawaii. Austin up the middle, short gain. Let's check in with Mike in the CSTV Fieldhouse. Mike, 7-3 Paladins on the Eagles here in the Southern Conference matchup. Austin takes it this time. Gets a good push and gets to the 26. Is this option different from what you usually see from college football teams running the option?
Well, it depends. If you look way back, if you want to go way back to the Oklahoma days, and you had J.C. Watts and those guys running the option, it was basically out of the wishbone, where you have the fullback up and you got your two slot backs in the backfield. Georgia Southern does a nice job incorporating some motion from the outside, as you saw him bringing down the flanker, and then he becomes the tailback. So there are a lot of different things, little ways you could tweak it, and they seem to do a good job at it.
Third down and 4. Give up the middle. Near the first down is Brandon Andrews.
Yeah, I think he's got it.
And he's another one of these guys coming back from an injury. He's coming off a concussion as well. So this is a banged-up Georgia Southern football team, but indeed, first down Eagles.
Georgia Southern yet to throw the football on first down. This might be a nice opportunity for them to try and go for the end zone here.
At the 22, last time they had the ball in this position, settled for a field goal from Sean Holland. That's why our score is 7-3. Teddy Kraft split wide to the near side of the field. So watch the bottom of your screen. Oh, it's Jermaine Austin again. Never goes down on that first hit.
No, he doesn't. But, you know, talking to Bobby Lamb yesterday, he needs a big day from his free safety, Cam Newton. And number 5, that free safety, he's starting to get up into the linebacker area, so he's exposed back there. There is some area behind him that gets to the end zone.
Austin limps off at the end of the first quarter. They will need him if they want to come back. It's 7-3 Furman on Georgia Southern at the end of one. The 18th ranked Paladins trying to get to the playoffs, and Georgia Southern trying to end their run before it even starts. Second quarter coming up on CSTV Football Saturday. 7-3, Furman has the early lead on Georgia Southern as we get set for the second quarter. It will be Eagle football at the end of a long drive. This will be the 12th play of the drive for Georgia Southern. Now inside the 20-yard line. Second down play coming up. Second down and 5. Scott said watch the pass after all the option football we've seen, so we'll see if they try it from the 16-yard line. Jermaine Austin again up the middle, diving over the left guard, Travis Haynes, so that brings up third down. Haynes just one of 2 seniors to start for Georgia Southern. Furman only has 1 guy.
This is not what Furman wants, though. You talk about the long drive by Georgia Southern, 12 plays, that's the 13th. All of a sudden, they're third and short again, 3rd and 1. You know, talking to Bobby Lamb, he wants to keep it 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. Make Chaz Williams put the football up in 3rd down. Now it's a much more manageable game, for Georgia Southern.
Third down and 2. Austin again, back on the right side, dives for the first down inside the 10.
That was a great individual effort on Austin's part right there. He was initially hit at the line of scrimmage. Taking another look at it from the side. Nice give underneath. Initially hit at the line of scrimmage. Great effort, pumping his legs, keeping him moving. He knows how much he needs for the first down, stretches it out. You know, now they have the first and goal inside the 10-yard line.
At the end of the long drive, first and goal. Austin. No, it's a pitch on the left side. Kevin Anderson dives inside the 5.
Here we go, looking at the left side option. All of a sudden, he puts it in the belly. Now, that's tough, having to trust in your fullback not to be able to clamp down on that football. When you initially have it in his belly, he pulls it out, continues down the line with the pitch. Nice job by Anderson stretching it out where it looked like there was going to be a loss on the play. Ends up getting, 1 or 2 yards on that.
Second and goal from the 4 now for Georgia Southern, down 7-3. Williams straight rollout. Now his back's blocked for him. He gets down to about the 2. Does Chaz Williams. He's the 3rd leading rusher on this team, even though he's missed some time due to injury.
Yeah, he's another tough kid. Another tough kid that plays hurt. Looks like he pulled the ball up like there was going to be a throw on that play, but as you look, there was nobody in the end zone. No receivers out on that play. That was called all the way. Quarterback sweep left.
So this is 3rd down and goal again. This will be 3rd down and goal from the 2. 3rd down again on the 16th play of this drive.
You talk about 3rd down. I think this is 2-down territory. If you don't get in here, you go for it on 4th down. You have nothing to lose.
Williams trying to sneak it in, but Furman keeps him out of the end zone. A great push up the middle from Mike Killiam, the middle linebacker, and Furman to keep Williams out.
Yeah, that's tough, but I mean, he's your second leading ball carrier. Why not let him try and get the ball? And he may have to go over the top there. As a quarterback, the only thing you have to do is get that ball to break that goal line. Stretch your both hands out, break the goal line, you got a touchdown.
Seawalk and the Eagles want a touchdown on 4th down.
We're getting an option here.
Going for it. 4th down and goal from the 1 for Georgia Southern. Pitch left. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Kevin Anderson.
You saw the Furman defenders, everybody was keen on Jermaine Austin on that. All of a sudden, nice toss play. Something they haven't run yet. It was option, option, option. Now all of a sudden, first time you saw the student body left. Nice job by Anderson getting the ball in the end zone.
On the 18th play of the Georgia Southern drive, Kevin Anderson, the sophomore slot back, punches it in.
18-play drive, Carter. That's fantastic. When you can hold the football for 18 plays, now all of a sudden you're starting to tire that Furman defense. Now, this is where teams are going to start to get fatigued. As the offensive coordinator for Georgia State, you're happy with that.
All of PAT is good after the Kevin Anderson touchdown run off the option. So Georgia Southern answers the big play from Furman with a touchdown of its own. 10-7 Eagles on CSTV. 10-7 Georgia Southern on 18th ranked Furman as the Paladins trying to play their way into the 2003 1AA playoffs. No Southern Conference team has ever made it into the playoffs with 4 losses. So Georgia Southern knows that they're not going to get in, but the way that Furman coach Bobby Lamb has set this into the season up, he says, guys, we're already in the playoffs. 1 loss is going to eliminate us from the postseason, so let's just play like we're already there, like we're in an elimination mode, and they are.
That's no choice. You got Wofford next week. I mean, there's no easy schedule here for Furman. I mean, they got to win out. You got Georgia Southern, Wofford back-to-back, 2 of the toughest teams in the conference.
Well, they call the Big 3 here in the Southern Conference, Georgia Southern, Furman, and Appalachian State, and yet it's Wofford with a win today, and the Terriers can wrap up the Southern Conference title. So it's kind of a topsy-turvy year in the Southern Conference. CSTV sideline to sideline Saturday continues today with the Big East Women's Championship semifinal soccer doubleheader starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, followed by Division III football action as Amherst travels to take on Williams at 9 o'clock. Don't miss a minute of CSTV sideline to sideline Saturday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern on CSTV, the new home of college sports.
You know, this second quarter here, Bo Moore comes back in. He was 2 of 7 in the first quarter with 1 pick. Maybe should have had 2 more. Maybe we'll start to see Josh Stepp pretty soon here if they can't get it going.
Furman has said that if they're ineffective moving the football, they will not hesitate to go with Stepp. This is effective. Willis Sutter, the tight end, wide open over the middle down to the 30-yard line. The second catch of this season for the Furman tight end.
And it couldn't have come at a better time. After an 18-play drive by Georgia Southern, first play out of the box. They were taking an end zone look at it. Nice play fake, steps up in the pocket, puts a nice touch on the ball to get it over the linebackers to his tight end. And after that, man, it takes 3 guys to bring this big guy down.
The rarely called throw to the tight end to the Furman offense. 46 yards on the pass play to Willis Sutter. He had 12 yards prior to today. Play action rollout from Bo Moore looking over the middle. Incomplete. Left it high for Grant Brigham, Henley's brother.
That was a touchdown right there. He let that one go. He kind of pulled the string on that one, falling away as he's on the rollout. He can get his shoulders back square to the line of scrimmage. Let a touchdown slide right there.
Three of 9, 60 yards with the 1 interception at the end of a good first drive by the Paladins. By the way, if you're wondering what a Paladin is, we'll tell you momentarily. 2nd and 10 for Furman. Handoff on the left side. So exactly what is a Paladin? Here is the official definition. Quote, a paragon of chivalry, a heroic champion, a strong supporter or defender of a cause, and any of the 12 peers of French Emperor Charlemagne's court. So in essence, it's just kind of a chivalrous night.
What year? Give me the year.
7:42 to 8:14, if memory serves, was Charlemagne's rule.
Little trivia.
Yeah, I think I remember that, but yeah, 7:42. Yeah. More roll out on third down. Now he tucks it. The quarterback runs for the first down to the 20. And that may have been a touchdown-saving tackle on the back end of that play.
If he would have held onto that ball just a fraction of a longer of a second in that pocket, he was going to get drilled from the backside. He had 3 guys bearing down right here. Great job cutting it up. Breaks one more tackle, and he's to the house.
Yep. Keys with the touchdown-saving tackle.
First down, Furman.
And that may have been a rough spot. It looked like Moore got that first down by about half a yard, but barely does. Aaron Whitaker, the cornerback for Georgia Southern, is sitting on the bench, so we got a backup in there. Be James Young, the free safety. And off up the middle. Down inside the 5, Lamar Rimbert. And A.K. Keys makes another tackle, and he may have saved another touchdown.
Same formation we saw earlier in the game. It's the second tight end in the slot, bring him in motion. He becomes the fullback. That's exactly what they ran when he threw the interception. Now, all of a sudden, without the play action, here's the give up the middle. Nice run. You have a first and goal inside the 5.
Rimbert, the only senior on the offense for Furman. He hasn't gotten the football an awful lot in 2003. First and goal from the 4. Near the goal line, no signal. And they're going to spot him down by a couple of inches.
Yeah, the defensive tackle, number 90, Victor Cabral, hit it. He hit him, actually almost pushed him into the end zone. With a little help from the Georgia Southern defender, number 90, Victor Cabral. Right here, coming in from the backside.
He's trying to make a tackle, nearly gets him in the end zone. You're right.
A good call. Good call by the refs.
Second down and goal from the 1 for the Furman Paladins. Bo Moore says, I'll just take it myself. Touchdown, Furman. Second rushing touchdown of the year for the junior from Madison, Georgia. At the beginning of this drive, we wondered if Bo Moore might get the quick hook. Now he leads a touchdown drive and takes it in himself. This is what the line judge sees here.
And we're so quick to criticize him up in the booth. Those guys have just as tough job as we do.
How does he know? Now
Nobody knows.
He's standing a couple inches from where our camera was, but, I mean, that is close.
Now, this is just uncalled for by Georgia Southern.
Flags on the PAT. 7-play touchdown drive for Furman.
Before the snap, offside, contact by the defense, half the distance to the goal, it's still a try.
So we'll try it all over again with Danny Marshall, who is approaching the all-time record for points put up by a Southern Conference kicker. This PAT will put him 8 away from tying the all-time record, and that kick is good. Furman has a 14-10 lead on Georgia Southern after the Bo Moore touchdown run. Back and forth, and the Paladins up by 4 on CSTV Football Saturday. Be sideline to sideline Saturday down here in Statesboro, Georgia. It's 14-10 Furman on the Georgia Southern Eagles. They take their football so seriously around here, as we see. This could be a game-changing play. The run back by Lewis Barr out at the 30. Lewis Barr, who's averaging 28 yards a return, runs that all the way back to 30. What a run back by Barr.
Outstanding run right there, but the effort I saw was by number 49, William Freeman for Furman, coming from the other side of the field, had the angle on him. If he doesn't have a touchdown-saving tackle, that one's going for 6.
What a run back by Barr.
He hit that crease at full speed.
And that's one of the things that Bobby Lamb and Furman told us they were so concerned about.
Exactly.
Special teams and the run back on the kickoff.
Yeah, not only special teams, but his kicking team. Covering kicks. And Georgia Southern doing a great job averaging almost 25 yards on their kick returns. And right there, they get a chance to crease it. Now, all of a sudden, that's 60 less yards that you got to be ready to drive. And then all of a sudden, makes it easier for Chaz Williams.
A 62-yard run back by Barr, and that's the longest of his career. Yeah. Second down and 9 for Georgia Southern. Down by 4. Williams dropping back to pass. Fade route in zone. A little too long. Intended for Kevin Anderson, and now a late flag.
Yeah, that's a great call by the coaching staff right there. You got Jermaine Austin, all of a sudden you get the nice fake up inside, suck the linebackers up inside. You got to throw the ball on first down. Take an end zone look. You see the play fake. All 3 backers from Furman. They bite up inside. Try and run in a post corner right there with Anderson. You just get a little more touch on it, give him a chance to make a play, but they still got the call on it.
It is pass interference on the defense. Cam Newton is the guy who's flagged.
Tough call there.
The Furman fans don't like it.
I don't know how catchable that ball was.
There's so many Paladin fans here in the purple that even when the call goes against Furman on the road, you still hear enough boos in the stadium here at Paulson Stadium. They're making their presence known.
Well, it's not the normal crowd here at Georgia Southern. It's a tough year for these guys. They're just waiting for something big to happen, and it's still lingering effects of the devastation that the season has had upon them.
So a big run back, and now the pass interference. 1st and 10, give to Jermaine Austin. Another flag coming up after the gain of 4 yards by Austin. Get a look at Mike Killian, the junior linebacker out of Atlanta.
Yeah, you talk about the fullbacks taking a beating on the option, but these middle linebackers, you got to initially take the hit off a center of a guard, then you got to get resquare your shoulders. He comes in, makes the tackle. Great play by him. These guys, physical, very physical, these middle linebackers.
2 players in motion. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Good explanation. 2 guys in motion on the offense for Georgia Southern. So, illegal motion. Now, this isn't Canada, the Arena Football League, so that's still a penalty.
Yeah, the goalposts are way back outside the end zone, so we know where we're at. But I was talking about the option. You're right.
And it's
what can you do?
Degrees.
Sometimes you get a little too creative. Now you got 2 guys in motion.
Back-to-back penalties. Williams the keeper, and he doesn't keep it for much, and it's Mike Killian, the guy that we showed you, getting physical with the tackle.
Furman's doing a great job taking care of the tailback, Kevin Anderson, on the pitch. Numerous times Chaz Williams has had to eat the ball, take it up inside on himself. He's had about 8 or 10 hits already in this first half.
Georgia Southern is the 2nd leading rushing team in the nation, and yet it's Furman with the rushing edge on the day.
One play does that.
Pump fake, fade route again. Williams to the end zone, dropped. 2 flags this time.
That's a good
3
call.
flags this time. That's going to be on Maurice Duncan, getting a little too physical in the back of the end zone. This will be the 2nd pass interference call of the drive. Now the officials will huddle to determine whether this is offensive or defensive interference.
Trying to do a little pump fake, a little pump and go action. Underthrown football, but Maurice Duncan, he's got to get his head around. That's why they call it. I mean, if he would have turned and just looked for the football, tried to make a play on it, even though it was underthrown, he wouldn't have got the call. Right there, that's called face guarding. Can't do that.
It is on the defense, and it's on Maurice Duncan. So the Aiken, South Carolina native draws the 2nd defensive pass interference. This drive for Mike Seawatt's team has been a kick return and 2 pass interference calls.
We'll take them there. We'll take anything. At this point in the season, the injuries that you've had, 4 losses, chance to ruin Furman's season.
Austin into the end zone. Touchdown, Jermaine Austin in Georgia Southern goes right back on top. The 6th rushing touchdown of the year for Jermaine Austin from 3 yards out. the least penalized team in the Southern Conference commits 2 costly ones, setting up the
Bobby Lamb does not look happy right now. Taking a closer look at the option. Just a little counter trace slip right underneath. We used to call that a P12. That's when the fullback gets the ball. 2 guards spread it out. Did a nice job with the flanker back coming across. You see the linebacker. He went to the left. All of a sudden, Jermaine Austin slips up inside for the 6 points.
PAT is good. Georgia Southern and Furman have gone back and forth. Eagles up 17-14 on CSTV. Georgia Southern a 17-14 lead on number 18 Furman, a game that the Paladins cannot afford to lose. They have played smart for most of this season, least penalized team in the league, and yet a costly one here.
Yeah, you're going to take a look at the interference call on Maurice Duncan. Number 2, he doesn't get his head around. All of a sudden, it's an underthrown football. Gives Georgia Southern first and goal. That's an easy one. You give it to your man, your workhorse, Jermaine Austin. All of a sudden, they're on top.
The touchdown drive set up by the big return. Now Furman will try to get one of its own. Out to the 33-yard line is Ryan Bratton for the Furman Paladins. So pretty good field position here and a little bit chippy near the Paladin sideline. And here comes the penalty flag.
Tepper starting to flare.
Little bit of talk going on, and a great job by Bobby Lamb. See what he did with his guys? Get back on the sideline, get out of there. You know, and that's one of the things he told us in the hotel last night is that this game is going to be tight as it is. We don't want to give them 15 extra yards by making some foolish plays, and yet 2 pass interference plays in a row, and now, by the look of it, a personal foul coming up on the Paladin sideline.
Exactly. For Georgia, fight in the middle of the field, not on the Furman sideline.
Personal foul on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty.
Personal foul against Georgia Southern. Let's check in with Mindy Bach in the stands.
Well, linebacker Derek Butler says aside from head coach Mike Seawalk, his biggest coach is probably his dad, Larry. I'm here with Larry and Anita Butler. He said you haven't missed a home game. If you were watching after watching this game today, what advice do you give Derek out there on the field?
Continue to play hard, continue to do well, and he's playing against that team that he knows he wants to win against, that Furman Paladins. He's always wanted to beat them, and he's always done it. So we pray for him to do so again today.
Now, he felt the effects of some concussions this season, something that's new to him. As a dad, when did you first realize about that?
Well, when he had a head-to-head collision with another fellow on the Citadel team, I believe it was. But, you know, it's one of those things that you go through in football. He's made it through it, and we know that the Lord take care of him.
He's as tough as they come, huh?
He's as tough as all nails.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much. Let's go back to you guys.
I believe Mr. Butler could be in the broadcasting line of work. What a great voice. I mean, he's got a great voice.
Oh, he does. You know, even talking to Derek yesterday, though, his face lit up when he started talking about his father. He's been to every home game, every away game. Kind of reminded me when I was at the University of Maryland. My dad went to every away game, the whole family to all the home games. So it's nice to know, even when you play on the road, a lot of folks make the home ones, but when they show up on the road, it makes it special.
Native of Orangeburg, South Carolina, between Columbia and Charleston. First down Furman, though. The Paladins starting to move the football.
He had to know we were talking about his father in that one. A little nice ISO right here on Derek, who makes the tackle on the last play. Another one, he's talking about the middle linebacker taking on an oversized guy twice his size, steps up, re-squares his shoulders. Nice hit, got his head in front. That's why he's the leading tackler right now for Georgia Southern on the year.
Even though he sat out last week, he's still leading the team in tackles. First and 10, swing out pass complete to Brian Bratton. Inside the 30 now for Bratton. Martinez, Georgia native.
Furman's starting to get creative here offensively. You know, getting the tight end down the seam, which led to the last big drive, hitting them early on that one. All of a sudden, nice little swing right here. Another little ISO right here on Butler. You watch, he sees right now. Nice break down the line of scrimmage. Makes the tackle.
You know, the DB
guys all over the field.
Tackles, and middle linebacker comes over to make it.
That's the type of guy you want playing in the middle. Kind of reminds me of Zach Thomas for the Miami Dolphins. Has a nose for the football.
First and 10 for Furman inside the 30-yard line, and Bo Moore didn't like what he saw, so he has to take a timeout. You're watching CSTV, the new home of college sports of the first 24-hour college sports network. CSTV carries over 25 men's and women's collegiate sports and provides the most in-depth coverage of over 1,100 colleges and universities.
CSTV also takes you outside the lines with original programming like Coach and Nike Training Camp. Log on to CSTV.com for more information. CSTV, the new home of college sports. Back in 1985, when Irk Russell was the coach of Georgia Southern, December 1st, the Eagles and Furman battled in Tacoma, Washington for the 1AA title, and Furman led by now their head coach, Bobby Lamb, led by as many as 22 points in the third quarter, but the Eagles came roaring back and took the late lead on the arm of Tracy Ham. With under 2 minutes to go, Furman's John Bagwell scored from 4 yards out to give the Paladins the 42-38 lead. But in what has become known in these parts here as the play, Ham hit Frank Johnson for the 13-yard touchdown with 10 seconds left to give Georgia Southern the 44-42 win and the Eagles' first national title. And there is Bobby Lamb now on the sidelines with Furman. After high school, he has spent every down of his career, both as a player and as a coach, with the Furman Paladins. First and 10, Furman out of the timeout. Moore completes it to Justin Stab, who takes a big hit. Furman inspires loyalty. All but 2 of the coaches on the Paladin sideline played for Furman and got their degrees from Furman.
Not only does it help you during the season, but talking with Bobby Lamb yesterday, you know, in the off season, when you have there's no turnover, there's no new coaches, so you don't have to get the new guy keyed up on everything. So everybody pretty much understands what everybody's thinking. So it's like one big family. And, you know, if one coach happen to not be successful in one area, you know, they don't have to do something excessive to get everything cleaned up.
Moore draw up the middle. Bo Moore inside the 20, inside the 15, down to the 12.
Furman kind of staying exclusive in the shotgun right now.
James Young, the free safety, makes a tackle on that play. It was Moore who rushed it in from the 1-yard line for the touchdown last time for Furman, so he's getting to where he likes running the football. I mean, he's the second leading rusher on the team.
Yeah, since the start of the second quarter, Bo Moore has really picked up the play of his game. We're starting to talk about it. We're going to see Josh Stepp. All of a sudden, he hit the big play to the tight end right down the gut, and he stepped it up. You see his rushes right there for 627 yards.
So this is now first and 10 inside the 15-yard line. It's Brigham around the end. Henley Brigham. What a hit. A.K. Keys puts a big hit on Henley Brigham, but pops right up and heads back to the huddle.
Talk about coming up and making a hit. I think he felt that as much as Stelbeck did.
Yeah, I think he felt it.
That's what you call a burner. When you come up and you get your shoulder stung and a little pinched nerve, a little tingling you have going down the arm. Takes his legs out. That's phenomenal. The way he came up and supported that run to the outside. Paying for it now.
The Keys, it was Tariq Muhammad who did the book. Made the big tackle. Keys helped out. No gain on the second down play. Third down, and we've told you about the special teams problems for both of these teams. Danny Marshall has been an effective kicker throughout his career, but he's a guy who punted at just 22 yards. So he's already had a little bit of a struggle today.
You don't want to do anything too dangerous right here with the quarterback. You're already in field goal range. You're down by 3. Field goal here ties it up. So if it's not there in the end zone, hopefully Bo Moore is going to throw it away.
3rd and 5 from the shotgun. Moore back to pass, pump fake, and now Moore will have to take it himself. Not much room to run. Out of bounds at the 5, a yard shy of the first down.
That was a good job. He was going to get sacked. He stepped up in the pocket. For a second, he thought about locking it in the left corner of the end zone, but he made a great decision, just eating it right there. It's going to be a close one here. Fourth and short. You got to kick it.
Field goal ties you here. Watch Hadley, number 98, stick right with Bo Moore. I mean, he is on him. He's not going to let him run that football anywhere.
Yeah, they had it covered. Furman's got a tough decision right now. Looks like they're going.
4th down, and Moore's going to come back.
You're down 3.
But they're going to have to take a timeout here, or they're just going to take the delay of game. And Furman calls a timeout as the play clock was down to 1. So obviously they don't care a whole lot about those 5 yards.
for the field goal kicker, Danny Marshall. CSTV Football Saturday coming up at the half. We'll check in with Mike and Aaron in the CSTV field house. Usually we'd say Mike, Aaron, and Scott Zolak, but he's here in the booth with us. So, all right, what are you guys doing now at the half? I mean, you primping your hair and getting ready for...
Not only that, you're trying to get some of the crumbs that Aaron has left behind from the buffet. You know, usually you have that pregame buffet, and if we get in there early enough for the pre-production meeting, you know, we got a nice little breakfast in there, and you know, Aaron's always the first one you see sitting down eating.
You guys have meetings?
Of course we do.
Out here on the road.
Hey, man, we got to cover every game.
We just plug in the headsets
on the fly.
and start yapping.
No rehearsals. Best thing for Aaron, though, he's bald. He doesn't have to fix his hair. Kind of like Glenn. You know, he just put the makeup on top. So he's going to be killing me next time I see him on Wednesday.
Whereas at halftime, we'll drop the headsets and go get some more of that barbecue. I mean, they've got the spread here.
They got the spread here. Smokehouse barbecue. You know, speaking of Aaron, it's funny watching him, and, you know, being a Notre Dame grad and playing in Notre Dame, it's tough seeing him see what his team's going through this year, his alma mater. I mean, we get a little chuckle out of it.
You hate just rubbing it in, don't you?
Yeah, but you don't want to do that.
4th down and 1 for Furman. Out of the timeout, play clock is already at 5 seconds, at 4. They're going for it, 2 seconds. Now they will take the timeout. So what Furman wanted to do was try to draw Georgia Southern offsides by getting them out of whack a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what we call a no-brainer. It's usually you bring somebody in motion, as they did, a little return motion, and the quarterback does as much as he could with, you know, without being excessive on the head bob. You know, being it on 1, being on 2, and once it winds down, having the kicker that you have going for him, why don't you just let the clock run out? Why waste the timeout? You know, maybe it'll be a 3 and out for Georgia Southern here, and you can use that timeout on the next series. Unless they're going to re-go for it. They may just go for it.
Paladins have used their last timeout of the first half. So they thought about faking it. They thought about drawing Georgia Southern offsides. Now it's decision time. You're out of timeouts. You're either going to send your field goal unit out there, or you're going to say, no more gimmicks. Let's just run the football. 4th and 1, and sure enough, the kicker comes out.
Doing a smart thing.
Yep, Danny Marshall, the field goal kicker, will head out to the field for what will be a 22-yard field goal attempt.
He's got a tough, stiff wind here going from right to left. And he's kicking off the left hash.
Marshall and the Furman Paladins trying to tie it up late in the second quarter. 22-yard attempt just sneaks in. Wow. Barely got that one, but Furman gets the points. Those 3 will tie us up, 17-17 between 18th-ranked Furman and Georgia Southern. Next Saturday on CSTV Football Saturday, tune in as 21st-ranked Northwestern State travels to Lake Charles, Louisiana to battle the #1 team in the country, the McNeese State Cowboys. The action begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with CSTV Football Saturday live from the Fieldhouse in New York on CSTV, the new home of college sports. McNeese State with just 1 loss on the year, and they are #1 in the nation. Place that Georgia Southern was hoping to be right now.
Yeah. Night game next week. Kind of seems like night down here today.
It does. It's very dark. Very dark with some heavy cloud cover. In Statesboro, Georgia, in case you're wondering, we're about 40 miles west of Savannah, inland. So not far from the coast, but we're a long way off from Atlanta. What, about a 3-hour drive from Atlanta, Georgia?
A lot of cotton fields on the way in.
Cotton fields, and on every underpass between Savannah and Statesboro is the Eagle logo.
There it is.
Folks around here in Statesboro let you know that you're in Eagle country. And they take it very seriously here in Statesboro, and they take the 4 losses by the Georgia Southern Eagles very seriously in 2003. This is not a program that is used to, I mean, forget about losing. I mean, this team is still 5-4, 3-3 in the Southern Conference. I mean, they're having what you would consider to be a decent year, but if you're not winning the Southern Conference, and if you're not going to the playoffs, and you're not adding to that number of national championships, you're gonna draw some heat, and they have.
for them, not going to the playoffs is not even a goal. I mean, they got to get to the national game. That's their goal every year. And doing what they've done with the 6 titles, you know, anything that falls short of that is called unsuccessful here. Even though they're out 5-4, most teams would consider that a successful season.
4 consecutive trips to the national semifinals for Georgia Southern. And yet, as we talked to these guys yesterday, including Chaz Williams, the quarterback, we said, is it really a big deal for you guys to knock off Furman and knock them out of the playoffs, or is that just us reaching for something? They said, big deal.
No, it's rivalry. You can tell these two teams hate each other. I mean, you've already touched on, you know, it's a big recruiting battle for the state of Georgia. You know, with 32 players being from Georgia on Furman's team. You want to keep these kids in state here at Georgia Southern.
Looking for the throwback.
Great call.
Across the sideline to Teddy Kraft, and running room for Teddy Kraft. Look at him go. Teddy Kraft inside the 30-yard line, finally forced out of bounds at the 22. What a run.
Phenomenal call by coordinator Mitch Ware here. You got flow going, all of a sudden you got him rolling out, Chaz Williams rolling out to the right. Just a little throwback to your tight end screen. We usually call that an uh-oh screen. Pretty much got everybody, all containment. You got defensive flow all the way. Well, that could have been a tough call right there by Cam Newton, pushing the guy once he's got 1 foot out of bounds.
47 yards on the pass play, so under 2 minutes to go before halftime. Georgia Southern has the drive. Jermaine Austin cuts it back to the 15.
Nice little wrinkle from the option. You bring the flanker down inside, and then on a little return motion, he becomes the fullback. You know, Chaz fakes it to him. Now he's got the little pitch.
Georgia Southern takes a timeout with 1:33 to go before the half.
Look for a toss play to come back here to Kevin Anderson. We haven't seen him in a while. They've kind of taken him out of the game with the option. He scored one early on a student body left. All of a sudden, they're back down in the red zone.
Student body left, that's mean where you send everybody to the left side?
Yeah, that's kind of when you line the whole class up on that left side, and everybody's heading to the left side. You just reverse out pitch by the quarterback.
Well, if it's a senior class, it's not a very big one for Georgia Southern.
They only got one.
I mean, on senior day, this is the last home game for Georgia Southern in Statesboro. They put all the seniors the entire year on the program.
Count them on 2 hands.
I mean, they got 9 guys on the program.
2 of which start. It's like that for both teams, though. These 2 teams, they're going to be good down the road here, not only throughout the end of this year, but, you know, talking about building for next year. That's why this is such an important game for Georgia Southern, a home game. You know, you got to get these young kids used to winning a big rivalry game like this, setting the stage for them.
And for 18th ranked Furman, just 5 seniors on the roster. And they're trying to win today to keep the playoff hopes alive. No guarantees for Furman, but Paladins feel like if they win out, they can get into the postseason.
Here comes Anderson.
Anderson, the slot back, gets the first down inside the 10-yard line. So clock will stop here as they move the chains with 1:29 on the clock. Yeah, that's a great situation here for Georgia Southern.
That's the thing. Jermaine Austin, he was the only single back in the backfield that time. They brought Anderson in on motion. He became the tailback, so having only one back, once you fake the ball to Austin, you got 6 guys converging on him.
First and goal for Georgia Southern, trying to take the lead before halftime. Williams roll out, the pitch inside to the 5. Dangerous play, but Kevin Davis takes the pitch and gets down to the 5.
That's a good call. Because if he does drop it, it is not a fumble. It's an incomplete pass. It's a shovel pass. I made a living off that in college with my wingback. It was Frank Wycheck, who plays for the Tennessee Titans now. We used to complete about 6 of these a game. If he drops it, it's incomplete.
Second and goal. Clock running. Inside give. Austin stood up and drilled. And then pushed back.
Like Mike Killian in on the stop.
And Cedric Ritter got a piece of him as well. Austin was headed for the end zone before he ran into those 2. Timeout, Georgia Southern to stop the clock. 47 seconds remaining in the half. Every weekday at 4, CSTV Retrovision, hosted by Billy Baldwin. This Monday, it's Dynasty, University of North Carolina women's soccer. Then Monday through Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Coast to coach, you can get the inside scoop as top coaches from around the country look at their team's recent games and preview upcoming matchups. CSTV Retrovision and Coast to Coach on CSTV, the new home of college sports. 49 seconds remaining before halftime, and now neither team has a timeout. Bobby Lamb and Furman used theirs on the last drive, and now Georgia Southern.
Yeah, Mike Seawalker, he's got to get two things ready. He's got to get his third down play ready. You know, if it's a pass and it becomes incomplete, or if there's a sack and he chooses to run the option, which keeps the clock moving, he has to have his field goal team ready to run on the field to complete the kick. He doesn't have a timeout to burn to get those guys out there and set up. So these guys got to be alert on the sideline.
Or do you just go for it on fourth down?
I don't think he goes for it here. I think, you know, the chance to put these guys out of the playoffs, you're going to get 3 on the board. Tie ball game.
Third and goal for Georgia Southern. Even at 17, the Eagles and the Paladins. Chaz Williams throwing it out the back of the end zone, just throwing it away.
Yeah, he just threw that one away. Good choice.
So that stops the clock. And 45 seconds gives you time to send your field goal unit on with Sean Holland, who has 1 field goal on the day for Georgia Southern. You like that call because it gives you a chance to stop the clock?
If I were them, I think their bread and butter is the option. You know, that's what they live and die by. I think that's what they know how to do. Chaz Williams kind of looks, you know, out of his element there, dropping back, throwing. It's such a short field that there's not much you can do.
Holland to tie it, or rather to take the lead, before the half, and Georgia Southern does. 20-7, Georgia Southern on Furman. What a great tradition here at Georgia Southern, not only the national championships, but in the 21 seasons, there have been some great players as well playing for the Eagles, including Adrian Peterson, and what a outstanding career he had. Nearly 7,000 rushing yards for Georgia Southern.
Talk about Coach Russell. This is another kid. You see number 3's picture all over town, all over Statesboro. Oh, wow. Just a guy you don't want to tackle.
Now playing with the Chicago Bears after a terrific career at Georgia Southern. Can he take a hit?
Great late drive.
Irk Russell said he liked what he saw from Jermaine Austin. Low to the ground, he can take a hit. Looks a little bit like Adrian Peterson, the way he's bouncing off tackles.
He has that low center ground. I mean, he's already got 60 yards, and we're almost at the half here. He didn't play the first series. You know, they had a 3 and out after that. So he's pretty much doing that on maybe a quarter and a half of play.
Georgia Southern Eagles have a 20-17 lead thanks to that 8-play drive. Let's see what opts to go for the field goal rather than trying to pick up the touchdown. Sure points and a sure lead. Chance for another run back here for Paladins. It's Brian Bratton. But no timeouts in 34 seconds. Not a whole lot of options. 33 seconds.
You know, I think with Bo Moore, he's been throwing the ball well. I think you take a couple shots here, maybe your first 2. If you don't get it on your first 2 shots, you run on the third down, run the clock out. But, you know, it's college football. If you get a first down, that stops the clock. Even though they don't have timeouts, they can stop the clock with first downs. You don't necessarily have to go to the sideline to get a guy out of bounds. You could do it up the middle. And they had some success hitting the tight end right down the gut.
Bo Moore, the junior quarterback out of Madison, Georgia. A lot of these players recruited by both Furman and Georgia Southern, so to see if Moore does, in fact, pass the ball. He does. Isaac West stopped short of the first down, just short. But when they get a measurement here,
you got to measure this one.
Close.
No, that's short.
Yep. Officials say that he's short.
Get up and clock it.
Yep. Second down.
Looks like
10 seconds.
They're going to let it run out.
Tried one play, and now let the clock run out. So the Furman Paladins will go down.
Yeah, he still wants it. He still wants a measurement.
Bobby Lamb standing.
I thought he had it.
And he is very upset. Let's check in with Mindy Bach.
Well, with Coach Mike Seawalk, your players had told us earlier this week that one of the things they did not want to do today was give up the big plays. Furman is known for their strong second half. So what are some of the keys for the second half you're going to tell your players to look for?
The first thing we got to do is we got to stop that draw. That draw's killed us twice now, right up the middle. We've done a good job. Other than that, we had them 3 big plays on the draw. If we could stop the draw and force them to dang... I feel good about our pass defense right now. It's the dang run that's killing us right now.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Coach. We'll see you in the second half.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
The score at halftime is 20-17, Georgia leading 18th-ranked Furman. Now let's go to Mike Crispino with the CSTV Fieldhouse for the CSTV College Football Saturday Halftime Report. Eagles have crawled, anyway, to a 20-17 lead at halftime over 18th-ranked Furman in the last home game of 2003. Second half, ready for football in Statesboro, Georgia. Carter Blackburn with Scott Zolak, Mindy Bach on the sideline. Our entire CSTV Football Saturday crew. Squib kick to try to keep that big return game. That's a live football. And finally, Georgia Southern jumps on it down near the 20-yard line. Furman was creeping in. So let's take a look at our first half numbers. And unbelievably, Furman has the rushing advantage.
Who would have thought? I mean, that's based on one. It's a little skewed based on the 80-yard scamper that they had early in the game by Henley Brigham. But all of a sudden, you know, they're out rushing Georgia Southern. You know, Coach Seawalk going into the halftime locker room, he took that upon his team. He's got to get that corrected. The draw play is what's killing Georgia Southern right now. They're doing pretty good against the pass.
They have 2 penalties against Furman, but both were pass interference, setting up one of the touchdowns. And the first play of the second half goes to Jermaine Austin. Picks up about 4 yards on the first down carry. Jermaine Austin, the 8th leading rusher in all of 1AA football, now over 1,200 yards in just his sophomore year. He was Southern Conference Freshman of the Year in 2002. What a polished back for just being a sophomore.
Without a doubt. And he's got to play if Georgia Southern has a chance to win this football game. He had 60 yards at the half. You could see the difference in the offensive team when he's on the field and when he's not. He gives him a spark. He lifts him right there on the little dive play, the little dive fake. He drew 5 defenders in on him again.
Chaz Williams takes it around the right side. The Georgia Southern offense, based on what is now known as the spread, but really in football terms,
that's not the spread. That's yeah. The spread's 4 wides, and you're going shotgun, no backs in the backfield.
This is a different kind of spread.
A little version of the Delaware wing tee, a little bit more motion.
And they call it the ham bone because Tracy Ham was the quarterback, as you saw back in 1985 when they won their first national championship and developed this option offense. And a first down picked up by Chaz Williams, the quarterback, as he dives across the 31-yard line, or at least close to the first down. We saw at the end of the half what we thought might get a measurement, what Bobby Lamb thought might get a measurement, did not. Now first down officially for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I think right there before the half, Bobby Lamb had his team, you know, with 2 plays called, you know, thinking they were going to get the first down. And if they didn't, they were going to let the time expire. It looked like a first down to me. It was a tough spot. A couple tough spots so far.
Chaz Williams and Bo Moore have gone head-to-head, very different offenses. And yet the first half stats, pretty much even between these guys, although Bo Moore has gotten to throw the football a little bit more. Williams will tuck it, run there, take it underneath.
They've completely taken Anderson out of the game. Furman has. Georgia Southern continually brings him in motion. He becomes the tailback. He's the pitchback. And rarely does he receive it when they run the option. Basically, the only time he's touching the ball is when they're going with a direct pitch straight to him. So from this point out, it's going to be up to Chaz Williams and Jermaine Austin to carry this football team.
This is one of the starting corners, Whitaker, on the sideline for Georgia Southern. Although his backup, A.J. Keys, has come in and been terrific for Georgia Southern. Second down and 7. Williams will keep it. He finds a seam, and he may find the end zone. Williams with 2 men to beat from behind. He's brought down inside the 30. Keith Johnson is the one who helps out making the tackle, the quarterback, along with T.J. Wilson, finally bringing Chaz Williams down.
He would take a little end zone shot at it. Great play. Great play by the backside left guard, coming down, taking care of the linebacker. Just look at the closing speed and the hustle of the Paladins. Look at a big day Chaz Williams had last year. 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air.
110 rushing yards last year in the 42-41 win last year for Chaz Williams. That was a game that Georgia Southern jumped out to a 35-0 lead and ended up winning by just a point, 42-41, up in Greenville on Furman's home field.
Got to start wondering at what point does Jermaine Austin become winded, become tired. I mean, even though he's not touching the ball in most of these plays, he's taking a licking.
No matter what happens on the option, if you're linebacker, you're looking for that fullback Jermaine Austin to give him a pop, because you never know who's got the football.
Exactly. You got to cover your own side of the ball. You touched about that in the first half, the discipline of the defense, staying with their own guy.
Williams dropping back, second down, pass incomplete.
That's a nice pass by Chad Williams.
Off the hands of Jesse McMillan.
I mean, it's there for Georgia Southern. If they want to throw the football, you're starting to get the free safety. Cam Newton, he's cheating up right now. Puts it right on him. The receiver didn't get his head around in time. He catches that. I mean, the defender was out of place. He would have taken that one to the house.
So that brings up third down and 13. Talk about a defense that has played well coming out of halftime. All season long, Furman has given up 3 points in the third quarter.
3 points in the third quarter, 23 total points in the second half. So they make some nice adjustments at halftime.
Third and 13, still the option. Williams fakes the pitch, keeps it himself, and dives forward to the 20. Near a first down, although he looks like a yard or two shy.
But he did a nice job of taking care of the defensive end himself, freezing him with the fake pitch, cuts it up inside. Now all of a sudden, you got fourth and short instead of that was way third and long. Fourth and short, they may be going for it here.
They bring the field goal unit out. Sean Holland will come on. What would be his
38-yarder.
This would be the longest. He kicked a 37-yarder in the first half. Gets it through. The 38-yarder. So his season long was 36 coming into this game. And what does Sean Holland do? Kick a 37-yarder in the first half, a 38-yarder in the second half. Georgia Southern on Furman on CSTV Football Saturday. Georgia Southern up 6 on the Furman Paladins in the third quarter. Tomorrow, CSTV Sunday Night Spikes brings you great volleyball live from South Bend, Indiana, as Miami travels to take on the 12th-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Catch all the action starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on CSTV Sunday Night Spikes. Georgia Southern gets a field goal to extend their lead now to 6 points against number 18 Furman. Paladins call this the playoffs at the end of the regular season, because if they want to go to the official postseason, Furman will have to win out. Scott, they're down 6 getting the football, which can be a tough position. Brian Bratton with another good run back, getting out to the 33-yard line. Let's check in with Mindy Bach on the sideline.
Well, cornerback Aaron Whitaker is out for the second half. He did sustain a high ankle sprain on his right leg.
All right, thank you very much, Mindy. So we'll see how that affects the Georgia Southern defense on this possession by Furman. Bo Moore and Furman has moved the football very well at times in this game, including that big run by Henley Brigham, the 80-yard touchdown first half. Over. First and 10, screen to Brown. And it looked like Georgia Southern was waiting on it. Let's check in with Mike at the CSTV Fieldhouse. That's the big rivalry game for St. John, Minnesota.
St. John Johnny.
Second and 9, Bo Moore running the option.
Stay on your feet.
Bo Moore might take this one the whole way. Bo Moore out of bounds inside the 20. A.K. Keys finally makes the tackle.
What a run. And you know who did a great job on that was Henley Brigham, following Bo Moore down. At one point, about 20 yards downfield, Moore looked to make the pitch to see that some defenders closing in on him. Splits it, keeps his feet. Right there, he looks for the pitch. Decides he should keep it a good decision, keeping it himself. Got an extra 15, 20 yards out of the play.
75 yards on the run for Bo Moore. Moore's going to try to take it himself. Loose football. Georgia Southern gets on it. The 4th recovered fumble of the season for Georgia Southern comes inside the red zone. 2 red zone turnovers today for Furman.
That's a killer for Furman.
Derek Butler comes out with the football.
Furman with 2 plays of 75 yards or more today against this defense. Now, this is a great chance for the defense. All of a sudden, you make a big hit, a big play. Furman trying to get a little bit too cute on the little delayed draw there. You know, you stick with what gets you down there. All of a sudden, you go to the shotgun, you go to the fake. You know, then you get creative. You try to get creative in the red zone. Sometimes you outthink yourself.
McIntyre forced the fumble, and Butler got on top of it. So Georgia Southern gets a football back. Now a 6-point lead. And as Bobby Lamb says, you have to make the most of your offensive possessions, because with the ball-controlled Georgia Southern offense, you're not going to get the football a lot. And 2 turnovers, both inside the 20 for the Paladins today.
Exactly, and this is a great opportunity for Georgia Southern to take over the football game and not put them away, but get a nice little lead here. You've got a 6-point lead. There's over 9 minutes left in the third quarter. They could really drive this football down 16 plays and consume this whole third quarter.
Second down, give is to Austin. There's a fumble. Oh, wow, what a great grab. I said it's a fumble. That's an option pitch and nearly ended up in a fumble.
Jesse McMillan did a nice job of hanging onto that ball. It was a high pitch from Chaz Williams. Kind of caught him off guard. I think he thought Chaz was going to tuck it up inside and run that one. Take another peek. Jermaine Austin again drawing 3 defenders. Jason McMillan, nice catch.
Flag was a sideline warning on Georgia Southern. Wow. Nearly 1 turnover, and then 2 plays later, another one. But that's one of the reasons that Georgia Southern has 14 fumbles on the year. It's tough when you're pitching those balls out there.
It is. But a nice job by Ray Revenell coming up and making the stop there, the freshman. They're getting a great year out of him. He's up for Freshman of the Year honor.
3rd and a long one for Georgia Southern. Williams has the football, and he is near the first down. Another close spot. Officials stop the clock, and they're going to measure this one, likely. First down, Georgia Southern. So a good stretch by Williams, or maybe a good spot, and that's 1st and 10, Georgia Southern.
You know what we haven't seen a lot from the Furman defense is a lot of blitzing yet today. They're kind of sitting in a base 4-3 with both safeties back. At times they've come up, but if Georgia Southern puts a couple drives here together, keeps the sticks moving, look for them to get Cam Newton involved in the football game a little more. Get him up in there. That's a free safety. Right there, he made a great hit on that play. Boy, he saw that one develop from about 15, 16 yards back. He broke on it and made the hit. Looked like Anderson had a nice pickup coming to him, maybe about 5 or 6 yards, but Cam Newton made a nice stick and held him for a short gain.
Watch Cam Newton, number 5. Boom.
I mean, he didn't even hesitate. He was straight beeline to the ball carrier. Right there, talking about getting your free safety involved in the football game.
And he's the guy Bobby Lamb said that would need to make the plays. He did there. Option pitch. Near another first down, it's Kevin Davis.
Seems in the first half, Georgia Southern, it was Anderson coming in motion. He became the pitch man. Now all of a sudden, he becomes one of the first dive guys. They're starting to go away from him, trying to get the other 2 backs involved to the weak side.
Now usually you say around 7 minutes left in the third quarter in a 6-point game. That's not a whole lot. But with the way that Georgia Southern runs the clock and runs the football and possesses the football, they can make this third quarter disappear pretty quickly. And if they score, then you're down 2 scores in the 4th.
Without a doubt. I mean, they're still leaving 9-10 seconds on the play clock. They could even milk this thing a little.
Austin. Jermaine Austin dragged down from behind. Keith Johnson makes the touchdown-saving tackle at the 24.
This guy just does not quit. What a workhorse.
I'm surprised he got caught from behind.
I mean, he caught him in a little bit of a Mike weak linebacker blitz right there. Austin creases it. I mean, he's dinged up enough to get into the secondary, but that's maybe where he loses a little bit of a step. He's over 100 yards against 16 rushes, 108 yards. He's already got a touchdown on the day. Keep giving him the ball. Keep giving him the ball.
Keith Johnson, who made the touchdown-saving tackle there, catching Austin from behind.
is from North Augusta, South Carolina. Guess who's from North Augusta? The hardest working man in show business.
Oh, there's a lot of those.
James Brown.
James Brown.
From North Augusta, South Carolina. I'm not talking about the sportscaster, James Brown.
The guy with the wig
And the splits. Penalty against Georgia Southern backs him up 5 yards.
You know, it's amazing. We watch this option, and you see every time they're faking the ball to Jermaine Austin, he's got 3 or 4 guys on him, and he's getting tackled there. All of a sudden, he has the ball, and boom, that's when he springs one. It's a matter of just waiting your time, waiting for the crease, and he took advantage of his opportunity.
Davis picks up about 5 yards.
Starting to get the other backs involved now. This is where Coach Seawalk is trying to wear down the Furman defense. Keep his other backs fresh, start rotating your backs in. I wouldn't throw the football the rest of this quarter. Just keep eating that clock up. Even if you don't score, if you don't get a field goal here, you're gonna waste the whole third quarter.
Georgia Southern 5 wins on the year, but none of them have come against teams with winning records. They have yet to beat a team with a winning record on the season, and yet 18th ranked Furman comes in here in almost a desperation game for the Paladins. The Eagles' season is done, and they have really been up to the challenge. I mean, they said that
they have.
The Eagles said that this is our game. We want to knock Furman out of the playoff hunt. We don't care if it's not for a championship. This is still our rivalry game. And it has been an intense game.
Without a doubt. But the thing that sticks out is the 2 huge red zone turnovers. I mean, Furman, if they take care of the football, they should maybe be up by a touchdown in this football game. It's not like Furman didn't come to play either.
Williams around the end. He slips and falls as that field is just a little bit wet from the humid day today in Statesboro. No rain, but just a very light drizzle this morning.
It wants to rain.
Yep, and humid all day long. Very sticky.
It's a bad hair day for you, Tony.
Oh, I'm telling you, I wish I had Aaron Taylor's do right now. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Those 2 guys, if he or Glenn were here today, those 2 guys would be sweating.
Field goal attempt, and it's a long one for Sean Holland, and it is way off. Way off. So a good stop by the Furman defense. Now the Paladins will get the football back with 4:13 on the clock. It's the Eagles by 6, but Furman gets the football on CSTV Football Saturday. Georgia Southern a 23-17 lead by Furman, but the Paladins make the defensive stop, the missed field goal, and now Furman gets the football.
Yeah, struggles by Bo Moore today. You see the early in the first half, the red zone interception by Butler, and then later in the game recently, he's trying to run a little draw play right here, puts the ball on the ground. Talk about ball security. You got to be smarter than that.
Just the 4th recovered fumble of the year by Georgia Southern. Hand off up the middle.
Georgia Southern starting to pick up more on the tempo here. You can see the game's really swung. They've got the momentum.
Brigham dropped for a short loss. Correction, it's Brandon Berry, the fullback, who gets that. Attempt brought down by Devron Jefferson, true freshman out of Albany, Georgia. One of the young stars of this Georgia Southern defense. Second down and 11. Furman could use a drive here. Obviously down 6. Play action, time for Bo Moore, so he rolls out, throws, and leaves it short. Looked like he had Isaac West, but missed him.
He sure did. He had him earlier, too. If he would have thrown it to the first window, he was running about a 12-yard in-cut. Call that a dig route. He got a little pressure. He got flushed out. Isaac came with him, but he just threw it in the dirt. He looks a little rusty. I mean, he's been out a while. He's been injured. You know, they had the off week last week. They were idle.
Sean Holland, after the missed field goal, decides that he's going to give it a little more work. He's hit one from 37 and one from 38 for Georgia Southern. And now the Eagle defense trying to give him another chance. 3rd down and 11. Moore roll out, same play. This time it's complete.
Oh, what a catch.
Brian Bratton holds it in near the sideline. And that keeps the drive alive.
And complete for a 1st down Furman.
Taking a look from the end zone here. He's buying some time rolling out. But watch the extension. Watch having enough sense about you to get one foot down. You only need one in college. Makes the catch, gets it down, keeps the drive alive.
Great grab.
These receivers are getting open. He's just got to find a way to get him the football.
Bo Moore, the junior quarterback, who is taken back over the job from the sophomore, rather the redshirt freshman, Josh Stepp. And the coaches told us last night that if Bo Moore was ineffective, they wouldn't hesitate at all to bring in the redshirt freshman, Josh Stepp. And yet, Bo Moore has done just enough to keep himself in the ball game and to keep that young man, Josh Stepp, on the sideline.
Exactly. Every time we bring it up, you think they're going to bring Stepp in, but then all of a sudden he makes a big play, states a case for himself. His head's in the game, though. Stepp's there. He's a lefty. Kind of changes the offense a little bit. The receiver's got to pay a little more attention. The ball rotates differently as opposed to a right-hander making the throw.
But it's still Bo Moore in there. 2nd down and 8. Moore on the draw. Georgia Southern was waiting for him. And Eric McIntyre finishes off the play with a tackle after Victor Cabral got the initial hit.
They pretty much closed down that quarterback draw. They're looking for it now in long 2nd down situations.
So now 3rd down for the 2nd time. 3rd and long.
3rd and long. This is tough for Furman.
Officially 3rd down and 9. Georgia Southern didn't make the stop the first go-around. Now they get another chance.
This may be the play of the game right here, Carter. If they can convert, keep this drive alive, get back. They're not out of this football game, but they need something here.
Furman fighting for its playoff life, down by 6 points. 3rd and 9 for the Paladins. Bo Moore over the middle, complete. Down inside the 40 and forced out of bounds. It's Brian Stone. Let's check in with Mike at the CSTV Fieldhouse. Thank you very much, Mike. So that will end Miami's national championship hopes in 2003 with the Hurricanes' 2nd loss. Let's take a look at this 3rd down play where once again Bo Moore makes a play to keep the drive alive.
Yeah, it's just a simple clear out by your wide receivers, and what they're doing here is dragging the tight end. He does a nice job waiting for him to clear number 47, the backer. Tight end gets it, but not only that play, but the 3rd down conversion before. 2 huge pickups on 3rd down, keeping the drive alive. They got to turn the tide here, keep their defense off the field. The defense is getting tired. Georgia Southern starting to wear them down offensively.
2nd down and 9, back to the shotgun for Moore in the Furman offense. Time again, complete again. Justin Stepp who makes the catch, the brother of the backup quarterback.
Yeah, Moore elected to throw the short one, but he had Brian Bratt, number 1, his receiver, open on about a 20-yard dig cut behind it. The linebacker jumped the short one. He threw it to him. If he would have just waited a second longer, he could have had a big play to Bratton right down the middle.
So instead of a long play, it's the short completion.
Another 3rd down.
Yep, 3rd down again. 3rd and 7. Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Clock starting to come alive.
Already 2 3rd down conversions on this drive. Moore roll out looking for Bratton. Now he stops. Moore to the sideline. Again, Brian Bratton. The 2nd tremendous catch on the sideline for Brian Bratton.
Brian Bratton, he is keeping his team in his game alone. I mean, Moore had absolutely nothing on that. All 3 receivers on that play were covered. You throw it to your best receiver. But he bides his time. He waits till the last possible second. Nice 1 step back inside. Takes the hit. While he's taking the hit, he makes the throw. They kind of run a stack route right there. The outside guy runs a little post route. And all of a sudden, he slides to the outside. And the ball's actually thrown inside. I mean, that's a heck of a catch.
Chance for one more play in the 3rd. Watch the reverse. Oh, football! Fumble of the football. Georgia Southern has a chance to get back on top of it. Still loose. And Georgia Southern recovers back at the 50-yard line. They fumble the reverse, and Eric McIntyre falls on the football all the way back in midfield.
Tim Soros, you got to question that. Why are you going to get cute down there in the red zone again? I mean, your team's making plays. Go with stick with what's working for you.
And with time running out, Furman rushes this play.
Yeah, it seems like the receiver was down too far in motion. He wasn't ready for the football. Don't pitch it, just eat it.
And after the scramble for the football, Georgia Southern gets it back, headed to the 4th. To the 4th quarter, Furman, who cannot afford a loss if the Paladins want to make it to the playoffs in 2003, have coughed the football up 3 times in costly situations. A red zone interception,
and 2 fumbles. And you do not want to be down to Georgia Southern in the fourth quarter.
71-1.
And here it is in the fourth quarter. Georgia Southern will get the football near midfield after the fumbled reverse. Williams running the option and picking up 5 yards. And as we said, Georgia Southern, ball control. If they move the ball, they run the clock down. And if they score, it's a 2-score game.
Exactly, and their defense is playing so well right now, especially at the point of attack. I mean, they may not have to throw the football the rest of the football game. If you run it 3 times, you have to punt, you punt it. You pin Furman back in their own territory, send your defense out. Let Furman, it's going to become a 2-score game pretty soon.
Funny game, this football. All year long, in 9 games, Georgia Southern had recovered 3 fumbles all year long. Here in the rivalry game against Furman, twice they recover fumbles, both in key, potentially scoring situations for Furman.
Exactly. Coming into this game, 17 times the ball was placed on the ground, defensively, and they only came up with 3 of them. And here it's just a matter of, I think it's luck, too. We talked about it last night, and the coach was like, no, well, we don't seem unlucky. It's just, we're not making plays. But you got to have a sense of luck. I mean, it's a little bit of a bounce of the ball. As you look about the reverse right there, all of a sudden takes 2 bounces back. It's kicked back 10 yards. All of a sudden they thought they recovered. They don't. Georgia Southern gets the ball.
Officials take a timeout to measure, and Georgia Southern will be short.
They're measuring everything now, ever since the end of that first half. When Bobby Lamb was in the ref's ear.
Yep. Now that reverse play by Furman, I don't get.
Bad call. Bad call.
Because Grant Brigham has not touched the football all game long.
Even before that, they tried to run the option, too. I mean, they're trying to run it like Georgia Southern. They get the whole way down there, then they run the option, then they run a reverse right after that.
3rd down and a short 1 yard, and that's going to be another first down. Brandon Andrews picks up the first down. So assuming the Paladins can stop Georgia Southern and get the football back, do you stick with Bo Moore, or do you bring in the redshirt freshman Josh Stepp?
Well, I think, 2 nice conversions by Bo Moore. I mean, he had a lot to do with that, buying some extra time there. It wasn't he that fumbled on, on the reverse. I mean, if it was him that put the ball on the ground for the 3rd time again, or he was the cause of the 3rd turnover of the game, then yeah, maybe you take him out. But I didn't see anything that he did wrong on that drive that warrants taking him out of the football game.
But first, if you're Furman, you have to stop Georgia Southern here. You cannot afford to even give up a field goal in this situation. It has to be another stop. The Paladins did it once in the 3rd quarter, forcing a missed field goal. And now the Furman defense, which numbers-wise has been great, giving up before today just 12 points per game. That was 2nd in the nation as far as scoring defense.
Yeah, I mean, they were sitting in the base defense. All of a sudden, they got the strong safety up in there, and here they come with the play action.
Williams drops back over the middle, post route, picked off. Flags on the play, though. Potential run back here for Daniel South, the strong safety, out of bounds at the 15. But will the interception stand?
No.
We'll wait for the official signal from our referee.
It's tough, though. I mean, I don't know how catchable that ball is going to be. Even on his deep balls, the ball's not even five yards near the guy. There's a little bit of little bit of contact. You're going to get the call. I mean, you're playing at Georgia Southern here.
Pass interference. Defense. Grabbing the receiver's jersey. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
The 3rd costly pass interference of the day against Furman.
Taking another look at it here. A little play action off the option. I mean, that ball's kind of, it's kind of up for grabs there. I mean, it's anyone's ball. Looked like there was a little contact. I think the receiver kind of misjudged it where he was going for it a little too early there.
Now, if there's one flag, you might question it. But when I see 2 flags, well, Scott questions it anyway.
I think it was questionable.
Second life for Georgia Southern, 1st and 10. Austin with not much running room up the middle, just a gain of a yard, but now inside the 20. Keeps the clock moving. Now you're within field goal range. And now Georgia Southern can run as much time off the clock as it wants. There's still 12:40 left in this football game, but
exactly.
The nation's 2nd leading team running the football will eat that clock up in a hurry.
You're going with the wind here, a little wind right to the left. Your kickers had success in this end zone, so if you want to kick the field goal, this is the side of the field you want to do it on.
And rushing yards in the second half, it has been all Georgia Southern. Brandon Andrews, the handoff up the middle. So 3 turnovers for Furman, all of them inside the 25-yard line. 3 pass interference penalties, all of them inside the 25-yard line.
You don't want to say it was the adjustments by Georgia Southern at the half to kind of flip, statistically the football game. You got to look at the turnovers. I mean, Furman, they're a big competitor. They're driving the football. They get down there and beat your head against the door.
3rd down, but it's 3rd down and long for Georgia Southern. Officially 3rd down and 7. Option pitch outside. Davis is ridden out of bounds.
That's okay. That's being to the right side. That's going to put the ball in the right hash with the right to left one. It makes it an easier kick for the kicker here.
Sean Holland missed his last attempt. He is hit from 37 and 38 today. And this will be right at 31 yards from the right hash for Sean Holland, who's hitting about 70% on the year. He can make this a 2-score game for Georgia Southern. Snap down, kick up. Kick is good. Just did sneak inside the goalpost. So the field goal is good. Georgia Southern converts on the turnover. 26-17. Furman gets the football back, down by 2 scores in the 4th quarter. Sean Holland's field goal makes it 26-17. Georgia Southern on Furman, so a sometimes inconsistent kicker. Holland around 70%, but the junior out of Franklin, Tennessee has had a career day, leading Georgia Southern to a 9-point advantage in the rivalry game against Furman. Paladins will get it at the 20. 3rd pass interference call of the day against Furman, but maybe this one questionable.
Hey, take a look from the end zone here. I think they're not used to throwing the deep ball. If you watch, Chaz puts it up there, but I think the receiver jumps a little early. He's not used to catching a deep ball, and I think that's anybody's football. I think that was a bad call by the referees.
Teddy Kraft just jumped a little bit too early for the football, so that interception,
from that angle, there's no contact.
That interception was called back because of the pass interference. That allows Georgia Southern to get the field goal.
From he going down, that was his choice to leave the ground early. I mean, he totally misjudged that football.
It is Bo Moore still in at quarterback for Georgia Southern. Now a 2-score game with under 12 to go. Furman's playoff hopes on the line. I believe I said Georgia Southern. Of course, Bo Moore in there for Furman. Paladins quarterback. Next Saturday on CSTV Football Saturday, tune in as 21st ranked Northwestern State travels to take on the #1 team in all of 1AA, McNeese State Cowboys. Action begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern with CSTV Football Saturday, live from the Fieldhouse in New York on CSTV, the new home of college sports. McNeese State taking on Stephen F. Austin tonight, and even though McNeese State #1, that Southland Conference is still up for grabs. So actually have McNeese State the next 2 weeks on CSTV Football Saturday.
You're going to see some good football.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 1. Handoff goes to Lamar Rimbert, and he picks up the 1st down for Furman.
He did, but getting back to the play before that, the nice pass Moore had to Isaac West. He looks like he's throwing the football well right now. There's no reason to take him out of the football game. He's decisive with his throws. He knows where he's going with the football. They just need to put the ball downfield a little bit now. Get away. Maybe this time, pump them. They've already hit 2 of those, actually 3 of those hitch routes, 3 little hitch routes. Now pump it, try and get a little, hitch and go going down the right sideline. Overall in a day, he's 12 and 19.
6 of 7 in the second half,
yeah. So he's doing well.
Dropping back, Bo Moore will go over the middle, sends it up long, well underthrown, and nearly picked off again. He was trying for Brian.
He had him. He had him, but that was a long developing post pattern. He kind of waited until the receiver got open. He just pulled the string on that thing just a little earlier. Take a look at it from the end zone here.
McBride and Keys on the coverage.
Nice little half roll. He gets back. Right here, let it go. Let him run under it. See, he had him. He had a 5-yard cushion. All of a sudden allows the defenders to make a play on the football. Could have caught interference there. That was similar to the play that Furman had.
So they go for it on 1st down. 2nd down and 10 for Furman. Paladins trail by 9. Playoff hopes on the line. Justin Stepp out in the flat. Tries to cut it back. Forced out of bounds. No, he stayed in. Official says wind the clock. He stayed in bounds. James Burchett rides him out.
We're talking about them. They need to put the ball downfield there. Hopefully that that won't deter them from trying that again.
Critical third down coming up for the Furman Paladins.
I mean, I think Brian Bratton's your guy. He's the guy that's making the catches. Looks like he's got some speed. He's the inside slot receiver to the top right now. Let's see if they're trying to work him the ball in the middle of the field.
Furman needs the 43. This is third down and 7. Moore from the shotgun. Here comes the rush. Pass complete. But can he get the first down? No, he does not get the first down. Football is loose on the ground. Brandon Mays makes the catch. But he is at least a yard shy of the first down. Is this 4-down territory for Furman already with 9:15 left to go in the game?
Well, it's a 2-possession game. I mean, you're out at midfield. I'd say yes. I mean, your season's on the line. I mean, there's no saying what ifs after this football game. It looks like they're sending in the two tight short yardage personnel coming on the field right now for Furman.
Bo Moore stays out there. Play clock is down to 9, though.
They got to hustle.
May have to take a timeout. Furman has all 3. Play clock to 3 seconds. 1 second, and here comes the flag. Motion on the line. That was not delay of game. There's motion on the line. And Furman may have moved.
Great tackle, Brian Lagus.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And it was Lagus, the right tackle. He just couldn't wait long enough. Just enough.
I don't know if they would have got that play off. I mean, he pretty much went, Lagus moved right when there was 1 second left on the snap.
So Danny Marshall will now have to punt it.
Kind of a weird punt formation again.
All right, 3 blockers back there for him. The first one went 22 yards.
That's a free ball.
He's going to take it, and it's wide open. Marshall on the sideline. Pulls the football out of bounds, but that's a first down. He gets to the first down flag. Marshall picks up the first down. On the fake. The officials will converge and talk about where to spot the football, but no matter, that's going to be a first down.
You got to know that's in Furman's playbook, but for Georgia Southern, you got to be alert for that. They should be in a punt-safe defense right here, not a punt return.
I mean, there is no one on that sideline.
Yeah. First thing they should be looking for right here is a fake. I mean, Furman needs a first down.
Eric White.
They got to learn how to hold on to the football.
Punish and get, or just get out of bounds.
It's sad because they have half the equipment on that the average football player has. They don't wear knee pads. They don't wear, thigh pads.
And Marshall's also the kicker, so they may need him again at the end of this drive.
They'll need him in that All-Star game in late December, too.
First and 10 for Furman from the 45 after the fake punt, first down. Running the football again. Bouncing to the outside. And forced out of bounds, it's Lamar Rimbert.
Nice little one. They could have caught a 15-yarder right there for pushing him while he was out of bounds.
And John Russ got a good block on that play to free up Rimbert.
They can look at it for the end. That's just bringing the tight end back into motion. What a great lead block he has right there on the linebacker. And all of a sudden, that allows him to spring it to the outside. But that was a pretty good clean hit. He had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Furman now driving with a new sense of urgency. 8:25 to go in the football game. First and 10 Paladins. Rimbert again. Big hole up the middle. Rimbert in the open field. Shake and bake. 10-5. Touchdown, Furman. 2 plays after the fake punt. Rimbert takes it 38 yards for the touchdown.
Rimbert absolutely froze both safeties on that. Both safeties in a 2-deep zone. Middle of the field wide open. Playing a 2-deep safety takes away the long ball, the long pass down the sidelines, but it opens up the middle of the field. He got into the secondary, gave a little goofy loop. All of a sudden, these guys, they don't know where the ball is. We got to get an end zone on that one.
And sure enough, here's Danny Marshall, who picked up the first down by the fake punt. Running the football, here he is for the PAT. Trying to make this a 2-point game. Good point after touchdown is good. 26-24. The Paladins are right back in this football game. The trickery, and then the 38-yard touchdown for Rimbert. It's a different football game now that Furman puts together a drive with the help of a little trickery on the fake punt, picking up a first down, and then a 38-yard touchdown run from Lamar Rimbert. Just the 2nd touchdown of the season for the senior running back for Furman. And the Paladins trying to keep the playoff hopes alive with a road win in Statesboro, Georgia, are now just 2 points away from tying this ball game up. Squib kick to try to stop the return. Tony makes a nice catch and returns it all the way back out near midfield, out of bounds at the 48.
Get a kicker like that, you kick it away, or kind of giving them the ball at the 45-yard line.
Right. We already saw one great run back by Lewis Barr that set up a Georgia Southern touchdown. What a key drive for Furman. And what a key play call to have Marshall fake the punt and run it for the first down.
Not only was it a great call, but it was astounded that Georgia Southern, didn't even protect themselves by just going into punt-safe defense.
Eagles football. Georgia Southern still up by 2.
Nice run. Yeah, but during that last time out, Georgia Southern had to send the ball boys out to get the jerseys from James Young and A.J. Bryant that Rainbird shook them right out of their shoes and their clothes.
When it's a tailback and 2 safeties, the tailback is not supposed to win.
No, especially when you have 2 safeties closing down in on them. Yep.
Second down and 6 for Georgia Southern. The number 2 rushing team in the country has gone back and forth in the rushing lead today. Jermaine Austin.
Wow. I think that one was on Chaz Williams. Initially, Anderson was coming in motion from the right to the left. He checked him back, and looks like he checked off. He saw an opening on the right side of the line, giving the ball to Jermaine Austin up the gut. Nice call by Chaz Williams.
Cedric Ritter gets in on that tackle, but how about the middle linebacker, Mike Killian, with 16 tackles
Had a pretty good day today
for the Paladins. First and 10, Georgia Southern. Inside give again to Austin. We saw him on the exercise bike trying to work out that knee a little bit, the sprained knee from a week ago against East Tennessee State. You can catch this year's NCAA Division I AA Football National Championship in Chattanooga, Tennessee, December 19th. For ticket information, visit www.ncaasports.com. 6 national titles for Georgia Southern, 2 other trips to the national championship game, but not this year. A 5-4 record has eliminated the Eagles from playoff contention. Now just playing for pride.
For the football. It's a free ball.
Option pitch.
What?
And now the line judge says it's incomplete because he says that was a forward pass.
Wow.
Keith Johnson would have picked that ball up and run it back for a touchdown.
He called that early, too.
Forward. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. Third down.
See Coach Seawath looking at that one. Cannot afford a turnover here.
So that pitch is ruled that it goes forward, and so it's an incomplete pass.
It's an option. It's a rarity that the tailback would ever be ahead of the quarterback in an option offense. I mean, these guys can run this offense in their sleep. So I got to tend to question that call. I mean, they're directly in front of us here in the booth, and it looked like it was a lateral to me.
Third down and 9. Chaz Williams going to take a timeout. The play clock was running short, so that's the first timeout of the second half by Georgia Southern. Eagles with the football up 2, but facing third down and 9 on CSTV Football Saturday. Bring the kids to the stadium and don't even pay attention to the football game.
See, they don't even need a toy. Best toy for a kid, a paper box or an empty Gatorade bottle.
Third down and 9 coming up for Georgia Southern. 2-point advantage for the Eagles. But they want to run the clock and get a first down here. Williams back to pass on 3rd and 10 to the sideline, complete to Teddy Kraft at the 25.
Nice job. They got Flo going to the left side. They rolled Williams out that way. Just stop, pause, through to the back weak side. Gets his shoulders re-squared around. Delivers a nice strike. That may be the play of the game there.
And Georgia
Keeps
Southern
the drive alive.
and potentially getting into field goal range as well to make this a 2-score game again. Inside give, Austin to the 22. not a time to get fancy. You already had one potential turnover that was ruled an incomplete pass on an option pitch.
Nailed it on the head. You hit the head right on the nail there. You don't want to get too cute here. Stay away from the option pitch.
Or the reverse.
Give it to Jermaine Austin for 4 more plays. And he's going to get you 3 yards a pop.
2nd down and 9. Give to Austin again inside the 20. There's your 3 yards
There
a
you go.
pop.
He's going to get it on 3rd down, too.
Sean Holland will likely be called on again. The Georgia Southern field goal kicker who has kicked 3 of them today. He's missed 1. And there is number 82, Sean Holland, the junior from Franklin, Tennessee. Right outside of Nashville.
They could take it down under 5 minutes here before they have to snap it.
121 yards rushing on the day now for Jermaine Austin. If he gets a football here, it'll be the 24th time that he's touched the football today. Williams is going to keep it himself. He wants the 1st down. Not going to get there, though. Down at the 15. Under 5 minutes.
The kicker just hit one from there before. I mean, you're pretty much in the same spot. The right hash, wind's pretty much the same.
Right, 22-yard. Yep, 22-yard right hash mark. However, Chaz Williams is staying on the football field. Said to heck with a field goal to make this a 2-possession game.
A kick.
I think I probably would as well.
I mean, you're at 2. If they stop him here and Furman goes down, it's a ball game.
Play clock to 5. Handoff up the middle. Austin, 1st down. Georgia Southern, 4th and 1, and the Eagles convert.
Coach Seawalk, he's not listening to us.
Huh.
If you're going for it, that's the guy to give the football to.
That's a gutsy call.
Give it to your workhorse. He's not going to fumble. I mean, you watch Furman, everybody knows he's getting it. He's hit right there by 3 guys, but he's already 2 yards downfield.
You wouldn't think that this is a situation where the defense uses its timeouts, but if you're going to get the football back with any time on the clock, you might have to use it.
Exactly.
1 or 2 here.
You want to leave yourself at least 2 minutes on offense if you don't have any timeouts.
Austin the football again. He dives ahead, so they may be playing for the field goal again, but what they have done is just taken a couple more minutes off the clock before Furman gets the football back.
Right. Even if they don't score here. If they could take it even down inside the 10, and he continues to go for it on 4th and inches. I mean, he's got to get to the 3-yard line here to have a 4th and 1.
2nd down right in the middle of the field. Don't be surprised if Austin takes it right up the middle, or Williams. Chaz Williams under center, the option quarterback. Pitches it on the right side. Out of bounds at the 10 is Kevin Davis after he takes the pitch. Run out of bounds by Keith Johnson. The cornerback has made some great plays today, Johnson.
Yeah, he has, but that's a play there. If he would have, like Austin saying, you should have gave me the rock on that one. But if you'd have given that to him, he would have had a 6-yarder, 6-7-yarder right up the gut. Take a look at it from the end zone.
Nice play.
Pitch.
Yep. 3rd down again. 8 of 16 on the day is Georgia Southern on 3rd down. Williams wants it himself. He takes a big pop from Mike Killian. That's 17 tackles on the day by Mike Killian. What a day. And a timeout here. And that's Furman who does take the timeout. Yep. John Gallardi, 77 years old, trying to break the all-time NCAA any division wins record. Division 3, but he would pass Eddie Robinson's number.
We had a discussion on Crystal Ball last week about comparing him with guys like Bob and, you know, the media scrutiny and pressure those guys are under. It's a tough thing. I mean, it's a great feat, a great accomplishment. You do realize it is relative. They are all playing on the same level. You're playing the same level of competition. But the pressure those guys Bowden and Paterno, Phil, from, you know, just alumni in general, playing in front of 80,000 people every week.
That's a little bit tougher. Ask Joe Paterno about the pressure right now in State College, Pennsylvania. Holland is going to come on for the field goal attempt from 25 yards. This would make it a 2-score game. Right now, it's a 2-point Georgia Southern advantage. Kick down, and the kick is good. How about the day for Sean Holland? 4 of 5 field goal kicking. This one from 25, and now the Eagles up 5. Furman will need a touchdown with 3:08 remaining in Statesboro. 3:08. I've told you about 3 times that this is going to be a 2-score game. Of course, I'm thinking field goals because that's about all we've seen late in this game. But obviously, 5 points, you get a touchdown, and that's just 1 score.
Yeah, but I mean, the kick gets so many field goals. You have field goal mentality right now. Like,
right.
well, we have to go down and kick 2 field goals. Well, touchdown wins it here.
3:08. Furman has 2 timeouts. Georgia Southern has 2 timeouts. Plenty of time, and you would love a run back here. Brian Bratton has given Furman good field position returning these kickoffs today.
You can get it to the 30-yard line. They're in business. Let it go.
Bratton lets it go
that's
out
one
of bounds.
thing you
at
do
the
not
35.
want to do is kick the football out of bounds.
That brings it to the 35.
Unbelievable.
Kick out of bounds on the kicking team. The ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line. First down.
The special teams has given Georgia Southern the lead with 4 field goals, but a costly kick out of bounds. It costs you field position.
That could be a minute off the clock. I mean, if Furman gets the ball on their own 14 or 20-yard line, for them to get a first down, that takes a whole minute off the clock for them to run 3 or 4 plays.
29 points by Georgia Southern is the most that Furman has allowed on the scoreboard this year. Now it's up to Bowmore, the Furman offense. 3:08, down by 5, playoffs on the line. Moore, first down to the 45.
Yeah, he's got that one. Great job knowing where the first down is, not sliding or looking to get out of bounds. Put his shoulder down, got the first down.
Terrence McBride makes a stop.
There's a full-out student body sweep right here. Nice cut up by Moore. He's taking that the whole way. Nice stick.
First and 10 Furman. Under 3 minutes. Remember, the Paladins have 2 timeouts. Bobby Lamb told his football team that this is a playoff game because if we lose, we're not going to go to the postseason. Couple of the football.
Down.
Patrick Covington gets back on top of it, though.
We're calling him down by contact. Take a little look at the end zone here. Carrying it like a loaf of bread. Got to get 2 hands on that ball, protect the point.
But they say Rimbert is down.
Furman in the basic regular I formation here. You think they'd be, maybe here they come. They're 4 wides right now.
Now Moore goes back to the shotgun look. Second down and 12 for the Paladins. 4 wide. Moore instead fires it into the flat.
Now that's a spread offense. That's 4 wide, that's shotgun.
Brandon Mays makes the catch.
I think that swing pass, I think that's a called play. That's about the 2nd or 3rd time they've run that. Moore doesn't look like he's looking downfield, trying to see if he could hit a big one down the middle or a nice deep in cut. He's pretty much pulling up and he's throwing that swing pass.
3rd down and 8. This is 4-down territory for Furman, though. From the shotgun, Moore. Looks like he wants to run it. Now he fires to the sideline, incomplete for Brian Bratton. His go-to receiver was covered up.
There is opportunities there for Furman if they would just run about a 10 or 12-yard hook on the outside. These defenders are 10 yards off the ball. It's not that they're playing a cover 2, it's a cover 4 where there's four defenders across the board deep, prevent the big play. But even right there, for them to even hit a little 5-yarder, it makes it more manageable. Then you got a 4th and 5.
Now it's 4th down, and Furman has to use one of its timeouts to draw up the play that will potentially decide their playoff future, and if they're going to have one. I mean, Furman has no room for error here. 4th down and 8. The Paladins already 3 losses on the year. They know another loss, and they don't get into the 1AA playoffs. So basically, the Paladins' season is down to this play, 4th down and 8. CSTV Sideline to Sideline Saturday continues today with the Big East Women's Championship semifinal soccer doubleheader. Starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, followed by Division III football action as Amherst travels to take on Williams at 9 o'clock. Don't miss a minute of CSTV Sideline to Sideline Saturday on CSTV, the new home of college sports. We got a great one to start, Sideline to Sideline Saturday. Georgia Southern and Furman 29-24. The Eagles with a 5-point lead, and now Furman, trailing by 5, faces 4th down and 8.
Not only do they face 4th down and 8, but they face elimination on the season. And even more so, that bus ride home, it's either going to be a happy one or it's going to be a long one.
On the season, Furman is 5 of 9 on 4th down. That includes the fake punt conversion they had on their last drive. There will be no postseason for Georgia Southern, so this is the bowl game. This is the playoff championship.
You've got to find a way to get the ball to number 1, Brian Bratton.
Lined up in the slot. Another timeout by Furman. The last of the game for the Paladins. Now, Bobby Lamb obviously sent his team out there and says, if you don't like what you see out there, come back and let's talk it over again.
Yeah, obviously he had something called, and even Brian Bratton was looking inside. He's tapping his leg to Moore. So they probably had something called, and the defense dictated to do something else.
3 minutes to go in the game.
I mean, this is the last play of the game for these guys. You got a timeout to waste.
Yeah, you're not getting the football back.
Exactly. Why save one for the last minute?
And yet, if you complete this 4th down, then you've got less than a minute and a half, and you still have to go the length of the field, and you don't have any timeouts. You still have to go half the field anyway. First down markers at the 45. So that is all Furman is thinking about right now. Get to the 45-yard line for a first down and keep the season and the playoff hopes alive. 18th ranked Furman.
See, they switch. They got the back on this side of the football now.
Still Bratton lined up in the slot at the top of your screen. 4th down and 8.
He's got it.
But he doesn't throw the football. Now Moore has to run. He has to run for the first down, and he doesn't get it. Stopped short on 4th down, and Georgia Southern is going to get the football with a 5-point lead, a minute 24 on the clock. James Burchett running to the sideline to stop Bo Moore.
I mean, take a look at it here. I mean, Moore's got to make a decision. You're going to give your team a chance and put the ball up. I mean, right there, he's got to know that he doesn't have a chance to make that first down. It's easier to sit up here and say you should throw it or you should run it, but, I mean, that's 4th down. You got to be thinking throw the whole way. Big game for Georgia Southern. Huge win for this football team. If they don't turn it over here.
Right. Hang on to the victory formation. No timeouts for Furman. Paladins can't stop the clock. 2 years ago, Georgia Southern watched the Paladins celebrate on this field at Paulson Stadium as Furman got the win in the playoffs. Now the Eagles, used to playing for national championships, we said at the beginning of this game they were playing for pride, and they did it today. They played with a lot of pride.
They sure did. It's a great credit to Coach Seawalk and the staff and what they've done here. Just keeping this football team together, because basically when you get down to this, you don't have anything to play with. You're basically playing for pride. Jermaine Austin to come back and play in the manner of which he did and spark his team. You just saw, I mean, even at the start of the game when he wasn't in there, and then he was inserted into the lineup, all of a sudden it's a different offense. Fortunately, they got the turnovers today, something they haven't been able to do.
And the number 1 goal for Georgia Southern heading into today's game, in Furman's playoff hopes.
They did that. Great job in the red zone defense. And then you got to question the calls by Furman, though, once they got down there. There goes the water.
Mike Seawalk.
He doesn't like it that much.
It's a win in the rivalry game. Even though Georgia Southern isn't going to the playoffs, isn't winning the national championship or the Southern Conference championship, the Eagles can say they knocked Furman out of the playoffs in 2003. 29-24 is the final score. Georgia Southern beats Furman. So now the Eagles get a chance to celebrate where they saw Furman dance around at Paulson Stadium 2 seasons ago. Scott, you hit on it. The pride that Georgia Southern has still taken this year, even towards the end of the season when they seemingly don't have a lot to play for, very impressive.
It is. And even watching in the pregame with them coming in on the buses, they were up for the game, talking to the kids yesterday. You know, Williams, Butler, Austin, all those guys are fired up for this football game. And they proved it today. They went out and they made a statement. Look at Furman now. They're going to play Wolford next week. You know, what kind of game is that going to be for those guys? They're going to be in the position that, you know, Georgia Southern was today. Not that they're going to keep Wofford out of anything next week. I mean, they're going to lock it up.
Our players of the game, no surprise, at Jermaine Austin with 136 rushing yards for Georgia Southern. And then what a day for Mike Killian, the middle linebacker for Furman.
Mike Killian, I mean, not only was he making solo tackles like that, he was taking on guards, taking on centers. He shedding the block, coming up, sticking, laterally moving to the sides.
Georgia Southern wins it 29-24. Let's check in with Mindy Bach.
Well, head coach Mike Walken, and coach, this team obviously is not going to the playoffs. A lot was riding on this game. Can you just even explain or what this win means to you?
Well, it's a huge game for us because this is Furman, and Georgia Southern and Furman rivalry's gone back since '85 when we knocked them out of that first national championship, and then to come out here and have this type of effort, because a lot of guys said this team didn't have much heart and didn't care about football, but boy, did they lay it on the line out there today. It's great to be an Eagle on Saturday night, especially after a victory against Furman.
Yeah, you have 2 fumble recoveries and an interception while Furman was driving, but is there another play or a big play to you that defined this game, that turned it around?
Well, I'll tell you the thing. The steady play of the offensive line kind of wore those guys down, and we got to control the football. Furman's a great defense. You just can't get touchdowns, so you got to take the field goals when you can. I thought the field goal down here at the end was critical because it came at a kind of great opportunity that they had to score a touchdown, and I thought our defense was ready to answer that challenge.
Okay, well, enjoy the evening. Thanks so much. Congratulations, Coach. All right. Okay, let's go back to you, Carter and Scott.
The 6-time national champs won't add a 7th, but they get a win over Furman, and the Eagles are loving it. 29-24 is the final score. Much more from Statesboro coming up on CSTV Football Saturday.